Quarterback domino has fallen. No, not that one. ESPN's Diana Rossini and Adam Schefter reporting Jimmy Garoppolo is signing with the Raiders. 3 years, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels was Garoppolo's offensive coordinator in New England. Meantime, Aaron Rodgers still hasn't announced his decision. It's expected he'll either ask the Packers for a trade to the Jets or retire. The waiting on Rodgers, the hardest part for the Jets, notes ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
I'd be concerned with what his offseason was going to look like. I'd be concerned with how my locker room was going to react. I'd be concerned with what kind of roster I could have given what his salary is if it doesn't change at $58 million. I'd be concerned with a lot of it. But you got to roll the dice if you're the Jets, because your alternative option is to likely sit in mediocrity.
49ers with a big addition to their already vaunted defensive line. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that they've agreed on a 4-year, $84 million contract with the Eagles defensive end Javon Hargrave. From ESPN's Courtney Cronin, Eagles linebacker T.J. Edwards planning to sign with the Bears 3 years, $19.5 million.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere in the Ingles Studio on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us for this Monday edition. It is free agency frenzy. The legal tampering period is now open, and all the deals are starting to flow through.
All the deals except one. I'm not going to hold the Packers hostage. Well, apparently you're going to hold the Jets hostage. Do it.
It's going to happen, okay? Can you?
You stop. Don't do that. There's a lot for me to throw over here.
Are we too close to the finish line?
I don't know. Okay, Trey Wingo says it's done. I am a rational New York Jets fan. I will not believe this until I see this.
I'm just trying to implore you. Like I think we're at that point where you can believe it now. It's like it's gonna happen. Or I mean, do you really believe that Aaron Rodgers is just playing the game and he's going to screw two franchises at once and just go screw it or quit?
Would it shock you? Would it shock you?
Yes, it would.
Just for Captain Ayahuasca to sit on his cloud of weed smoke and mushrooms and just go, I don't care about any of you.
It would shock me immensely. We got free agency deals being negotiated right now between teams and agents. Nothing can become official until what, tomorrow? Is it tomorrow at 4?
Wednesday.
Wednesday at 4. So you got the legal tampering period, and names are already coming off the board. Top name of the day has to be Javon Hargrave. Going to the San Francisco 49ers.
That's a very large deal.
I mean, if you thought the San Francisco defense was scary before, I just brought in a dancing bear.
Yes, and I also feel like we have to keep doing this where we just have to say the salary cap doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. San Francisco, they're hard capped. Well, here comes the
$80 million deal or whatever it was. $84 million over 4 years, 40 of it guaranteed for Javon Hargrave.
And it's time for this.
Opening Drive is always brought to you by the place that gives you the best tools for your drive. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to andersonnissan.com or 629 Brevard Road. Check out the showroom of certified pre-owns and, of course, brand spanking new vehicles. Mention the Sportsocracy when you're ready to make your trade in, and they will give you a $250 bonus.
Unlike Aaron Rodgers, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville will not leave you on red. They will not ruin a whole day of your life. They will take care of all your problems and put you in a perfect new or pre-owned vehicle to satiate all of your needs. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the two formerly fat guys from the Sportsocracy sent you. All right, I see all of you in the chat that are going, Trey Wingo says it's done. Let me give you a little vision into my mind right now. Until I see Aaron Rodgers wearing something with a Jet logo on it, I ain't buying not nary one bit of this.
None of it.
None of it. I don't care if the guy that walks his dog, the guy that sells him his recreationals, his spiritual healer, I don't care who says it until I see it with my own two eyes. Because right now, I'm looking at this going, this has been the jettiest thing in the history of creation. We put every egg in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and then he just goes stone cold Steve Austin. Double birds everywhere.
Because your top three options, we talked about them. Top three options for the New York Jets this year would be Aaron Rodgers in a trade, Derek Carr,
Lamar Jackson
once he got released. Yeah, but then the fallback plan
was never Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
It was never Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, so ask yourself this question: why would that have been a fallback? Because him and Robert Saleh were in San Francisco together. Who calls the plays in New York? Oh yeah, that guy that he has never so much as laid eyes on. Jimmy Garoppolo was never an option. I've told you that from Jump Street. It's lazy. They were in San Francisco together. Okay, well, one of them's a defensive guy and one of them's an offensive guy. All of the offense that Jimmy knew is gone. And let me make this as perfectly clear to you as I can. If the New York Jets had any interest in Jimmy Garoppolo and you came to them and said, you can have him for $22.5 million a year, they'd have gone, done. Do it right now. It was never on the table. They were never in it, and I have had that said to me by a source from inside the building. The Jets were never in on Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't think Houston was in on him that much. I think Houston may have floated, well, we should give you a one-year deal maybe to back up whoever. I'm good on backing up anyone.
Well, Derek Carr's gone. Jimmy Garoppolo's gone. Hell, Case Keenum's even gone.
I'm good on Case Keenum. By the end of the day, Baker Mayfield's going to be going too. To the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire those cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
Oh, the glory days are back.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, you know what? You know what's sad? I am refreshing my Twitter at a rate that you would think I was waiting on a check from the IRS. I'm almost hoping more that in these 3 hours of terrestrial radio, we hear about Baker Mayfield more than Aaron Rodgers. I want to see your pure, unadulterated sadness when I have to go, you did it. You did exactly what I told you you were going to do.
Why do you enjoy my misery?
Because you enjoy mine. You just won't admit it out loud.
Okay.
Because you've been doing that thing all day of, it's done. Meanwhile, you're saying this to a man with 13s tattooed all over his body, which makes him just want to kind of strangle you.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to ease your mind. Like, I don't see any other way that this can go.
Oh, I can give you a few ways. Maybe Aaron wants to take another. Maybe he wants to take another darkness retreat.
Yeah, none of them make sense. Aaron Rodgers has said it won't be long. There are numerous reports that the deal will be done and official today by this evening at some time. Hopefully we'll get to break this news on the air while we're here, and that way Jeremy can stop with his tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. Lucy pulled the football out from under me, Jets fandom.
It's hard for me to believe anything's done when we're talking about a man whose best friend is a coyote, okay? The dog is not telling me what Aaron Rodgers is doing.
There's nothing wrong with that. Man's best friend.
Dog.
Exactly. The Bears are making moves today.
Oh, yeah, TJ Edwards.
And Mike McGlinchey.
to the Denver Broncos.
Oh, I thought he went to the Bears
He
as
went
well.
to the Denver Broncos with Ben Powers. Because apparently Sean Payton showed up and went, wow, this offensive line is awful. All of you must go. This is a Kmart blue light special. It all must go today. You know, why is it that free agency day is always the day that I have so much hope in my soul only to have it dashed?
Because you're a Jets fan. I mean,
every year I fall for this. Like, oh, today's going to be – I woke up this morning. Today's going to be such a great day. Today is a great day for Aaron Rodgers to be a New York Jet.
Look, just like all those people worried about there's never been a great Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. Well, you know what, Carolina Panthers fans, let yourself believe it. C.J. Stroud, he's going to be the one.
I will say, check on your Panther fan friends. They're not okay. After that trade, so we do an hour-long mock draft, first reaction, all those things. I don't think I've heard one Panther fan say one nice thing about that trade yet.
How can you? How can you?
It's
because
not as bad as everybody's making it out to be.
I mean, well, look, it was an overpay.
Was it, though?
I believe it was.
Okay, so how was it an overpay? You're gonna if you're coming out of the top five to number one, you're going to give up 2 ones bare minimum, and then some. All right, so you did that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't give up. You gave up the later of your 2 second-rounders this year, which you got for a running back. You gave up a 2 years from now. Everybody in the organization may be fired by then. And DJ Moore. Oh, whatever will we do without a 5'11" receiver? There's not 40 of those in this draft.
Whatever will we do without the veteran pass catcher? I mean, he was the offense. He was the target. Like, if I'm going to get a quarterback, I want to have a target for him to throw to. I'm good with the draft pick compensation, all of that. I thought giving up DJ Moore was a little too much.
Chris D said, I thought you had less when you had it mocked last week. I did with him staying in the top 5. You got to say, Chicago didn't want out of the top 5. The fact that nobody came to the table with an offer that they thought was formidable enough is why they went down to 9. They also think Jalen Carter is going to fall in their lap at 9, which I hate to tell you this. That is not going to happen.
It could. You never know. The red flags may be too much. I felt like it was a little bit of an overpay, but there again, I think it also depends on who you moved up for.
I mean, I think Carolina did fine.
If you moved up for Anthony Richardson, sorry, hate it for you.
This morning we broke out the daily draft, which will be an 11 a.m. YouTube show every day talking about your draft questions. And I did a 7-round mock draft for the Carolina Panthers. And guess what? You wound up just fine because you took C.J. Stroud at 1. You got Luke Musgrave at 38. Tyjae Spears with that 3rd-round pick. You got Bryce Ford Wheaton as the developmental big target. And Isaiah Lands. Home run. Home run. You get a franchise quarterback. You get all these pieces because you still have draft capital.
And
I feel like I've been defending the Panthers for 3 solid days.
And that would be great if we have control over those picks. It would be great if Jeremy, you were drafting for the Carolina Panthers, but you're not.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say Scott Fitter is probably going to do a better job than I would.
Right. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
We do this every year where we go, well, 30 GMs did not do as well as Jeremy would have done.
Exactly. We do this each and every year, and I have been the great Scott Fitter defender since he got the job, since he came over from Seattle. And I feel like there have been a lot of instances where we go, well, that wasn't Scott's best move, right?
Well, I mean, he's been chasing a quarterback like a dog chasing a tennis ball.
And I get it. He's been in a tough situation. But there again, like, is there really a strong track record of, damn, that was a great move?
Yeah, I mean, he's had some in the draft. I really like J.C. Horn. I think he's fine.
I hope so.
He's
all
fine.
Carolina. I mean, this is not just Carolina Panther fans or New York Jets fans or Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. We've all been bitten by our franchises so much that we just expect the worst.
Not like me. Not like me. Don't you compare your pain to mine, okay?
Here we go.
the greatest quarterback in the history of my franchise is doing AARP commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So
mine was doing them while he was playing. So what's the difference?
You won a Super Bowl in your lifetime.
That's true.
You get somewhere.
It's very true.
Okay.
Which kind of shocked me at your reaction to the whole Jalen Ramsey thing. Jalen Ramsey leaves the Los Angeles Rams. He's going to the Miami Dolphins. Now, we're going to talk about the L.A. Rams coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour with the host of the Believe in Rams podcast, Jake Ellenbogen. He's going to be joining us at 4 o'clock, and we'll get all the ins and outs of him. But with the Jalen Ramsey move, I mean, first off, I felt like you didn't get enough back for him. Although
I don't know what people think you were supposed to get back.
I don't know.
First of all, Hunter Long is a dog. I loved him. I still love him. He didn't fit that system with Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
So if Hunter Long turns into what I told you he was going to 2 years ago,
okay,
and he's a top 10 tight end in this league, and you get a third-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, all of a sudden, do you hate this trade as much?
Okay, but he's been in the league for 3 years now?
Well, he was hurt the first year. He was in a system that did not match his abilities the second year because they didn't draft him.
Okay.
He's going to be fine.
Is that it? He's just been in two years?
This was his second year, yes.
All right, we got to I guess I'm thinking of Adam Troutman, who's been in the league 3 years. I'm just saying, not always your little darling tight ends work out. Okay?
I mean, I'm hitting at a pretty high rate.
Good, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Do I hit any position as often as I hit tight end?
Jeremy, when you like 16 tight ends a year, of course you're going to hit 3 or 4 of them.
That's not true, and you know it. It's not true, and you know it.
It's just the Jimmy Johnson philosophy here. I want all these guys, and I'm going to say they're all my favorites, and then when 2 or 3 of them are good, I'm going to be good. No, I'm being hyperbolic here.
I was about to say, that's what a lie sounds like.
I don't know. And then your response on Twitter was, this proves that it's not worth it to go all in for a Super Bowl?
You spit in the face of the draft, and don't be shocked when the L.A. Rams' little run here has been like the great sparkler of the NFL. Mm-hmm. Oh, it shines so bright, they're going to be good forever. Oh, shoot.
No, see, that's what we did. See, we did that. We saw this team and we went, oh, my God, they should be great for 10 years. Well, no. I mean,
they age like a dairy product.
Players age. Players get hurt. And guess what? It's not really like they weren't really like a sparkler. They were like a really damn good mortar. You know, one of those that goes up and just, boom, lights up the sky because they were unstoppable in their Super Bowl year.
For 1 year.
And that's fine.
And now,
that's all I need.
And now you look at what's coming over the next 10 years, and it's just infinite sadness.
Indeed.
That is why we're bringing one of the foremost opinions of the Los Angeles Rams on with us at 4 o'clock.
Indeed. And hopefully.
And I have a funny feeling you're going to be outnumbered here.
Hopefully when your team goes all in.
My team's already all in.
I'm just saying.
I'm not even sure that I'm going to get the guy we went all in for in the uniform.
When your team goes all in and wins a Super Bowl, you'll see, yeah, it was worth it to do whatever it took to win a championship.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack for you would do anything for one Super Bowl. No, I wouldn't. And later on in this show, I'll tell you why.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com. or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Have your outdoors and running water, too, with Luxury Lou, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family-owned and local, Luxury Lou Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Lou's are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty John.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Lou. Visit LuxuryLousRental.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos? It was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. Like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Also ahead on the program today, not only your latest free agency news, or I guess the legal tampering period news, we also have off-season previews to do for the Cincinnati Bengals and for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, we timed this out perfectly because every year we forget legal tampering period is really the start of free agency.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're not supposed to announce deals, and then we announce them all.
All day.
Of them.
All day, air day.
Today we also have a bit of business to attend to.
Okay.
It is that time of year once again.
Oh, it's March Madness.
It's bracket time.
Yeah.
And we need the topic for our 64 combatant bracket of Sportsocracy goodness. We have two go ahead.
We've done most overrated bands.
Which was awesome.
And what was the other one that we did? We did another one.
Oh, we did television shows the first year.
Yeah. And now we got to come up with something new here. Is this greatest movies?
Well, we have two combatants that have already been discussed.
Okay.
One of them is greatest rapper of all time, which is the side that I am heavily on. Because, I mean, Tank, we'd have to bring in a new third because Tank would be absolutely useless for the vast majority of us.
No, because this is all sewn up in a tight little bow, and it's done, it's over. We've already established this, right? Busta Rhymes is the greatest rapper of all time. So we don't even need to have a contest.
Are you just trying to irritate me today? Like,
what?
Is
you
that
don't
your
like Busta?
Yikes.
What?
And when I say greatest rapper and you start with Busta Rhymes,
the greatest
just
of all time.
Tell me you have no idea what you're talking about without telling me you have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the greatest of all time. Not even close.
The other that has been discussed, and we're open to all, that's what we do here. This is a crowdsourced show.
Yep.
Best professional wrestlers of all time.
In.
That was Kevin Vick's idea earlier.
Heavy. That's me. I'm all the way in. If y'all want to do rapper, then maybe me and Vic can. You bring Stephen Powell in here, and y'all do favorite rapper, and then me and Vic will have our own little bracket, and we'll do favorite wrestler. How about that?
So at the start of the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to put a poll up, and the winner wins. And we will seed this out tonight, and we will have our bracketology tomorrow.
Can we combine the two greatest rapper wrestlers of all time?
I don't think that's possible.
Like John Cena wins. I think he's.
I would have gone R-Truth, but
the Insane Clown Posse. They bridge that gap. R-Truth, is he a rapper too?
Yes.
Interesting. Did not know that. Does a hell of a Ric Flair impression, and he raps. Good.
Brian Haynes said if it's wrestler, I'll be in studio for sure. I do feel like Brian Haynes would be a great asset no matter which one of those two we choose.
Yes.
And if anybody else has another one, feel free to chuck those in the comments, and we will pick that later here in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see the little blue notification thing pop up on Twitter, my heart stops for just a second.
By the way, we got to do this. Points for Patrick Holt. Sabu.
He would be in it.
Wrestlers over. We could be done with this.
Stop.
Greatest wrestler to ever injure Tank at a house show. Sabu. There you go. Yeah. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And free agency signings, it's crawled to a halt.
Oh,
here.
yeah. We started with a bang, and then it's just, we have limped to this point. Jawan Taylor, who got exactly what I told you he was going to.
4 years, $80 million.
That's just a whole mess of money for a lineman that cannot block the run at all.
Well, good thing he's going to the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't run at all. So
just go to a team that never runs.
Cam Sutton signing with the Detroit Lions. We were asked earlier in the chat, is that a good signing or not?
It's a good signing. I'm shocked Pittsburgh let him get away for so little. I'm not actually sure who's going to play corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. You may have to use every draft pick to draft corners because you don't have any.
3 years, $33 million deal for Cam Sutton. The Broncos getting Mike McGlinchey, as we mentioned at the top of the program. The San Francisco 49ers. Sorry. Getting Javon Hargrave. I was just looking at this. Speaking of the Buccaneers, they are not the only team to be pursuing Baker Mayfield. Well, we're not the only idiots on the block.
Sweet.
Thank God.
Who else?
It does not say.
The Houston Texans.
Shaq Mason being released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, they've tried to trade him all day.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked.
It's not working. Jarrett Stidham going to the Broncos.
Is that not weird to anybody but me?
But why?
You had, obviously with the Jimmy Garoppolo signing, the Raiders basically said, well, you don't have a soft place to land here.
Absolutely.
But do you not find that strange that nobody would be interested in him except Denver at 2 years, $10 million?
No, I don't find it hard to believe that no one was interested in him other than one team. Denver Broncos, I don't know. I guess he's a good backup for Russell Wilson. Hopefully you're never going to have to use him.
Well, based on what I saw of Russell Wilson last year, he might be the best alternative on the team.
Well, let's be honest. This is not 2023 Russell Wilson is expected to be much different than 2022 Russell Wilson with Sean Payton in town.
We also finally, 29 minutes into the show, have our first one of these. That is our sound for when free agent signings have been announced.
Oh, it's a power-up.
This is from Ian Rappaport, Von Bell to the Carolina Panthers.
Nice.
It's not a bad signing for them.
Okay.
I like that far more than I liked Shy Tuttle. For all of you that asked me, should you be happy about Shy Tuttle? How do I put this nicely? He is a good run defender.
Mm-hmm.
And against the pass, he falls somewhere between Tank and Johnny Hecker. Like that's where his pass rush skill set falls in. I'm not sure if you told me I had Johnny Hecker coming off the edge, it wouldn't make me feel slightly better than Shy Tuttle.
Well, he won't be asked to do that.
Correct. Yeah, he's a first two-down defender. You get Von Bell. It's very obvious that Carolina is trying to shore themselves up against the run.
Mm-hmm. It is the Sportsocracy. We'll keep you up to date on all the other signings. Jermaine Pratt going back to the Cincinnati Bengals on a 3-year, $21 million deal. I feel like that's a hell of a deal. He was one of the best players on that defense.
No doubt. That was a deal they had to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the best days of the year.
There's no laws in this place. Anything goes. It's Thunderdome.
It's Thunderdome, baby. Free agency. Let's go.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Stop going it alone for recruiting and staffing. Choose a local expert. Hiring is about getting to know people, not algorithms. So let the team at Express Employment Professionals hire for you. Visit ExpressPros.com to find the office near you.
When emergencies strike, firefighters are there to stand strong and answer the call. Start or continue a high-octane and rewarding career with the Hendersonville Fire Department. HFD offers competitive pay, fantastic benefits, and the foundation for a meaningful work-life balance. If you value integrity, service to your community, and working with a professional team, apply today. Now hiring full-time and part-time Hendersonville firefighter EMT positions. Unlock your best life at www.hvlnc.gov/jobs. Live here, serve here.
The hugs, the joy, even the sleepless nights. Whatever you get from parenthood, you always want to give your children everything. And the UNest app makes it easy to save for their future. The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. Plus, you'll grow your UNest account with every purchase you make from over 150 top brands like Disney Plus and DoorDash. Start building your child's financial future. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
now you look like a pro.
Are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
No, I was just kidding. I was just testing the button. It's fine.
Yeah.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
I just got to play with his emotions a little bit.
Well, he does that like I don't have Twitter pulled up here. You think you're going to get it before Adam Schefter does?
I always get the best news. I get the best news breaks.
I also have a phone in my pocket. You do realize that, right? I mean, and there's a bat signal if it's Aaron Rodgers news.
We're waiting. It won't be long. before the Aaron Rodgers decision comes in. All right, it's time to get just a bit outside. And, well, I feel like I take a victory lap on this one. I told you this was going to come, as the North Carolina Tar Heels did not make the NCAA tournament. They did not make the field of 68, as was expected after they lost to Virginia in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament this past week. And then you got the statement last night that, no, we're not going to do the whole NIT thing. And I'm having fun with all of the overreaction from everyone on this. Now, I land on there is no way, nothing you could have done, nothing that the NIT could have offered me that would got me to go to this tournament.
Well, first of all, I don't understand why anybody accepts an invite to the NIT anyway. You do realize that they put in Villanova and not Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm. Postseason basketball is fun. We get it. Everybody wants to have the extra practice and all of that, and I can't tell you how many times.
Why would you need that with Carolina? None of these guys are coming back.
No. The thought is now, if Armando and Caleb and RJ and all these guys were not going to play, then why wouldn't we just accept the bid and get these young guys some practice time? Do you honestly think that Hubert Davis wants to put that out on the floor against almost tournament teams? Like, this is not the Tar Heels had nothing to gain by going to the NIT. They had everything to lose.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Get bounced in the first round of the NIT because you're playing Dontrez Styles
against
in the
Liberty.
starting five.
Let's go Liberty. Ugh. I'm looking at the NIT bracket going, who in the world would watch that? Why?
I have seen all of the reactions to, this is just so arrogant by UNC. Yes, it is. It's arrogance. I'm sorry. There are just some schools that should never accept the bid to the NIT. If you suck that bad, if you are a blue blood in this sport, I don't care if you're Carolina, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, whoever, you should never accept the bid to the NIT.
Well, I don't know why you keep calling it the NIT. That is the Florida State Seminole Invitational.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's kind of my point.
Oh, yeah.
There are some schools that are like, yeah, let's go win an NIT title.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it may work for Memphis and
Santa
Florida
Clara
State and South Carolina. I think they won it back-to-back several years back. Like, those are the kinds of programs that can build, quote-unquote, something off of an NIT. Carolina could do nothing but hurt themselves by going to the NIT. And let's be honest, none of them wanted to play. I'll bet you even those guys that never get to play, Seth Trimble and Jalen Washington, all those guys, they were like, screw this, we're not interested.
The old not in tournament. One of the top 5 stupidest things we do in all of sports.
Oh, you should show up. You were good enough to be invited. You should accept that invitation. Why? It's an invitation to a party that sucks.
Yeah, but we didn't get the invitation to the party that all the cool kids are going to, so we're going to go play Dungeons and Dragons in the basement with Liberty.
Right.
Hey, let's do that. Speaking of things that we tried to tell you, Los Angeles Chargers running back Austin Eckler is requesting permission to speak with other teams about a potential trade after preliminary talks with the team aimed at a contract extension did not progress. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna catalog this under I have tried to tell you this for 2 solid years. Everybody loves him because he's so good for their fantasy team.
Yes.
I have it on good authority. Do you know what they offered him a year?
What?
$8 million a year. End of message, repeat the line.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. We're not going higher. We do not value you to be an in-between-the-tackles running back. You are a great little toy. But if you're not here, you know what we're going to do? Draft Bijan Robinson, and I think we'll be just hunky-dunky.
What would you expect? I mean, what should his market value be?
About $8 million.
That's what I think.
He is a really good slot receiver running back hybrid. He is, I don't know. Let me think of a good Demetric Felton. He's the best version of that we've ever seen.
My gosh.
That's what he is. Well, he cannot run between the tackles.
I mean, I'd have gone Darren Sproles there, but okay.
Yeah, but Darren Sproles was 4'3". All right. Deuce Vaughn is Darren Sproles actually, I believe he has been reincarnated and put in Deuce Vaughn's body. I've seen so much gnashing of teeth about this. Oh, how would the Chargers do this? I understand why you would want him. He's due $6.25 million next year. That's a great value. He's 28 years old because he came into this league pretty old in the first place. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's going to hold up particularly well?
No, he doesn't hold up particularly well now.
Name me the running back that turned 28 years old and all of a sudden got healthier. Wait. Those don't exist? And that's what the Chargers are saying. I got to make decisions here. I mean, we've already had to talk about cutting Keenan Allen. Which one do you think I'm going to prioritize?
Right.
Keenan Allen or Austin Eckler? Kelvin Joyner asked me a great question this morning in the first episode of the Daily Draft. Do we get to a point where you're just oversaturated with running backs? Yeah, we're there.
Mm-hmm.
When the leading touchdown scorer in the NFL is looking at offers from the Bengals, the Bills, and the Jets. I want you to think about what I just said. Jamal Williams is looking at being the backup to two of the better running backs in the NFL and a member of a committee with a team that doesn't run the ball. That's the guy that led the NFL in touchdowns last year.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? I had somebody else say I took Tyjae Spears at 98 with Carolina, that second San Francisco pick.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably going to be there because there are 100 running backs in this class. Texas has 2 of the top 6.
Yeah.
Roschon Johnson is the 6th best running back in this class. You wouldn't know that because he didn't play all that much behind Bijan Robinson. There are a ton of running backs. I don't care. If I'm the Chargers and somebody will pony up a 3rd-round pick for Austin Eckler, done. Done. Absolutely done. Running back is not a value position. I understand he's good for your fantasy team. I get it. That does not mean that he is a between-the-tackles, legitimate bell cow running back in the NFL because he's not.
No, he is not. And he is not worth more than $10 million a year.
From what I hear, he wants 15.
Which is dumb.
Have you and Aaron Rodgers been hanging out? Like, are you doing his drugs now? Because that's what you'd have to be doing.
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. So I'll start really high, and then we can come down in the.
If you think you're getting $15 million, you are certainly really high.
I mean, that's like the report that Odell Beckham Jr. wants $20 million a year. Like, dude,
No.
you ain't been worth $20 million since New York.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'll pass. I know the New York Jets are interested. Please no. I no. No.
Nobody's going to sign him for that, do you think?
No, but I could see him getting 12 with a slew of incentives. I don't think you understand how bad this receiver class is.
Maybe so.
Teams are looking at Adam Thielen, who is a ghost of receivers past, and going, yes, let's do that.
I'm at 10. I'm at 10 with Odell Beckham, and maybe we can build in some incentives. You make a Pro Bowl, you lead the league in receptions, you lead the league in, all these escalators that we could put into the contract. Okay. But, yeah, your base salary is going to be 10 at most with me.
I'm good.
And it would be the same thing with Austin Eckler.
I got way less pushback in the comments than I was expecting. You're stupid. Yeah, I know. I have been for 2 years.
All right, off-season previews. Here it's time to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, well, how do they do it? How do they get back to the Super Bowl? And how do they keep the band together? That's the main question here. You're gonna give the contract extension to Joe Burrow. He's going to be making $50 to $60 million a year.
Well, going into today, do you know how many teams in the NFL had more cap space than the Bengals?
Like 5?
It was 4.
Yeah.
So you've re-signed Jermaine Pratt on a really team-friendly deal. You're going to get a home run deal on Joe Burrow. If you didn't see what the Cleveland Browns just did with Deshaun Watson, there's a reason you want to sign these guys to a longer-term deal, because you can just keep kicking that can down the road.
Right.
Cleveland saved $36 million against the cap this year. Do you know what Deshaun's cap hit the next 3 years is?
What?
$63 million a year.
Yikes.
And guess what? They're going to do it again.
They're going to keep kicking it down the road.
The last year of that deal, the void year, is $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get to that, it will be $30 million sitting on the cap. You mark my words that I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way the game's played. Cincinnati will have literally no issue keeping the band together. Now, the question is, where do you go? What do you add? Because you're going to lose Jesse Bates.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be on the wrong side, depending on how you're looking at it, you're going to be on the right side of the compensation pick formula. So you'll probably get 2 or 3 compensation picks for the guys you're going to lose. So I don't really want to be a big player in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to. This is a really good roster. And I've got picks that will allow me to do a lot of what I need. I mean, yes, this team still needs a left tackle, which I feel like I've been saying since the Kennedy administration. I think the last time the Bengals had a left tackle, Bill Clinton was the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how many times I have to say this to get you to understand. Move Jonah Williams inside. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why you're not getting that.
It's because they still believe. They still believe he's a left tackle.
He's not. And I don't know how many years he has to be mediocre to bad for you to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're there. We have accomplished this. I mean, to me, this would be an ideal spot for Taylor Lewan. You bring him in, you slide Jonah Williams into guard, and before somebody says, we don't even know if he could play guard. He played guard at Alabama. I've seen him do it. So it's not like this is a foreign thought. No, he can do it just fine. Cordell Volson becomes your swing tackle. Get a legitimate left tackle, whoever that is. Now, I don't want to spend the money on somebody like Orlando Brown, but I feel like that would help you a lot. Keeping Jermaine Pratt was a number one biggest priority on the board. Drafting Daxton Hill last year kind of takes away some of the burn of Jesse Bates. This is not a great draft to be looking for a free safety, but, I mean, you could take Antonio Johnson in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure I would do that. I don't know that that's your biggest need, but you don't have a lot of them.
Well, I mean, it's that or a tackle.
I mean, tackle to me would be the biggest of the 2 needs.
Right. Anton Harrison, somebody like that.
Anton Harrison won't be there at 28. Don't ask me why. I did not reporting it, just telling you what I hear.
Okay. Broderick.
Now, to me, that's the most interesting one. Because you could take Broderick Jones there at 28 because everybody's telling me he's getting pushed down the board because he's raw. Okay. Let's say you take him and he is raw. Is there really a problem with that? I mean, I don't want to start Jonah Williams again, but if I have to, I mean, I've seen me be in worse situations with good teams before. I feel like the Buffalo Bills are in worse position right now than Jonah Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just okay. Good teams wind up staying good forever because they can take shots like that at the end of the first round. Because you get that fifth-year option on a player that's raw, and you can be patient with them and develop them over the course of a year, 2 years, whatever it takes. Cincinnati, I would argue, is the best roster in the NFL. Top to bottom, I think that's the best roster in the NFL.
Okay, I could get down with that.
It was Philadelphia at the start of the day, and that hasn't started well.
Right. We knew that team was going to lose a lot.
No doubt. But all this talk of how hard it's going to be to keep the band together, it's really not. I mean, you're going to have to come off the balloons, don't get me wrong.
Serious. I mean, like serious.
Oh, no, I mean,
you got 3
money
players
that the Cincinnati Bengals
top 5 at their position.
You're going to have to spend money that the Cincinnati Bengals have never spent before. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you haven't done it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're being really honest, I hear a lot of things about how cheap management is and things like that. When was the last time you had an incentive to spend this much money? I mean, were you just itching to do it with Jeff Blake or
No.
Boomer Esiason or Carson Palmer?
It was that era. Carson Palmer, Ocho Cinco, TJ Hushmanzada.
And your high side with that was never where you're at right now.
No. You just didn't have the quarterback.
No. I mean, now you are in the perfect scenario because every single year when you come on the clock in the NFL draft, you can just go, who is the best player on the board? I don't care what position they play. That's how teams like Kansas City and Philadelphia and Baltimore stay good for as long as they do because they can fall in love with a player. I don't care what position he plays.
So Cincinnati will be able to keep all the pieces together. There will be an extension for Joe Burrow. Is there an extension, or are they going to do the early extension for Higgins and for Chase and all of that as well?
I think Higgins probably gets done this year because you still got another year on Jamar Chase before that really becomes before that even really becomes an issue. So I think you have to take care of T. Higgins. if for nothing else, just because the rumors leaked out that you could be interested if somebody blew you away. I don't think there was ever any truth to that. But as the show of good faith, I want you to know that you are an integral part of what we're building here.
Josh asked in the YouTube comments, who could the Bengals pick up to replace Bell? Von Bell just went to the Carolina Panthers in free agency.
I mean, in free agency, I don't really love anybody fit-wise. Jamie Robinson out of Florida State's the one that I would be. I think he can come into the league and be an impact guy immediately. He just needs somebody rangy over the top of him because he's not all that. Foot speed is a problem with him. And he also does have a bit of a propensity to lose balls deep because he's not a deep safety. So in terms of if you're trying to replace Von Bell, you're in fine shape because there's several safeties in the draft that can do that. It's needing that deep guy. That's where it's just bereft. It's Antonio Johnson and Brian Branch, and that's really about it.
It is the Sportsocracy here on the opening of the legal tampering period in the NFL. We'll have more of your coverage, breaking news coming throughout the program after the Sports Center update. We got Jake Ellenbogen from the Believe in Rams podcast joining us to talk about Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. I mean, what are they going to do going forward?
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Coffee's the closers, homie. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
It's March, and that means it's time for madness, it's time for brackets, and it's time for upsets. This week, we'll go region by region and give you our favorite upset in every bracket, a Cinderella, and our pick to make it to the Final Four to help you win all the cheddar in your office pool. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. We start in the South. Alabama's the 1 seed, and they are looking like a formidable choice to take down the Nets in just 3 weeks' time. But this is the most interesting bracket in the entire tournament and could have a slew of upsets. We start with number 12, College of Charleston over San Diego State. This is going to be one of the trendiest picks in the entire tournament. Now, I don't love the matchup. This is a very experienced Aztec team that people haven't really seen because they play in so many of those late-night West Coast slates. Don't be fooled. This team is very, very good. However, Charleston may have been the worst matchup humanly possible for them. This Cougar team is top 5 in the nation in rebounding and one of the highest scoring teams in the country. They also managed to win 30 games. Taking out Gonzaga, we've had 12 mid-major teams in the last 10 years make the tournament with 30 or more wins. They're a combined 10-2 in those games, and most of them were double-digit seeds. This has upset written all over it. Next, number 13, Furman over number 4, Virginia. That's right. I'm looking for 2 Palmetto State double-digit seeds to be playing each other on Saturday with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Virginia is one of the most overseeded teams in the entire field. Their good is good, but their bad got smoked like a deli meat by Boston College. And why did that happen? Because they were dominated inside by a true big man. Enter Furman forward Jalen Slauson, my guy and one of my favorite players in all of college basketball. Seriously, if this guy doesn't latch on a Summer League roster, the NBA's not doing its homework. Between Slauson, guard Mike Bothwell, and guard J.P. Pegues, the Paladins have more than enough firepower to take down a Wahoo team that just doesn't score enough points. Bob Ritchie gets a win in his first trip to the dance, and that Charleston-Furman second-round matchup is going to be straight out of mid-major heaven. Finally, number 6 seed Creighton. This may be the most favorable run to an Elite Eight I have ever seen from a 6 seed, which, by the way, is a gross miss seed as well. Frankly, the Blue Jays should be the 4, and Virginia should be the 6 in the South. I look for them to cruise by NC State, and they have favorable matchups with every team that could come between them and roll Tide. I'm not sure they can beat Alabama, but they are my favorite dark horse in this entire field. I'm going to lay the safe money on Alabama, but I'll no doubt hedge with a doubloon or 2 on the Blue Jays. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Churches.
There are so many reasons to get hooked on Church's 8-piece shrimp meal. It's dippable, crunchable, downright irresistible, and it starts at $5.99. The only catch? It's only here for a limited time. Church's Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Raiders filled a quarterback need a couple of weeks after releasing Derek Carr, who then signed with the Saints. Vegas agreed to a 3-year deal with Jimmy Garoppolo, according to ESPN's Diana Rossini and Adam Schefter. 3 years, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. Solid addition by the Raiders with Jimmy G, believes ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
They could make the playoffs. You know, they were in 9 one-score games a year ago, and Jimmy G's 40-17 as a starter, led the NFL over the last 3 years at 8.3 yards per attempt. I'm a big Jimmy G fan. I think he'll do great with Josh McDaniels.
Mike Tannenbaum on Canty and Carlin. McDaniels was Garoppolo's offensive coordinator in New England. 49ers bolstered their defensive line, agreed to a 4-year, $84 million deal with Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, $40 million guaranteed. Eagles free agent linebacker TJ Edwards plans to sign with the Bears. Chargers running back Austin Eckler requesting permission to speak with other teams about a potential trade after preliminary talks on an extension stalled. Georgia Tech has hired Celtics assistant Damon Stoudemire as its new basketball coach. The sides agreed on a 5-year contract.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. And, of course, you can hear us everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. And we're seen everywhere in the Ingles studio on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat.
Before we get into our esteemed guest, we have two of these. The Chicago Bears have signed Bills linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to a 4-year, $72 million deal with $50 million guaranteed.
Quite a bit.
That's a whole mess of money for a guy that I considered a gross bust 1 year ago. And they've also signed former Titans guard Nate Davis.
All right.
I actually like the latter better than I like the former.
Just because of the money.
Well, I mean, look, if Tremaine Edmonds turned a corner, okay. If he's the same guy that he was 2 years ago, whoo, that contract's going to age like cheese.
Speaking of aging like cheese, the Los Angeles Rams, that Super Bowl hangover was historic. And, of course, the big news over the weekend, Jalen Ramsey has been traded from the Rams to the Miami Dolphins, or is going to be. So where does that leave us? Joining us now in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, Jake Ellenbogen. He is the host of the Downtown Rams podcast, as well as the Believe in Rams podcast. And, Jake, welcome in.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you along. So
he is also Peter Schrager's favorite podcaster on the planet.
Yeah, is that true? Is that true? Do you get like Christmas gifts from Peter Schrager?
I do not, but I do get mentioned on Good Morning Football every now and then.
All right, there you go. So, what is the deal with where do the Rams sit right now? As far as, are we going to try to run this back? Are we just exploding it all at once? What's happening?
Well, right now, I think when you're putting together all the pieces and who they've gotten rid of, I think obviously looking at it from that perspective, yeah, it looks like they're blowing it up. Les Snead has described it as a remodel. I would call it more of a rebuild. I know that's more of the PR term that they want to use, a remodel, but to me it's a rebuild, and I think really what they're doing is they're just saying that, hey, the best way to win a championship is have a really good offense. And, I think they're putting all of their eggs in the basket of the offense. It's why everybody that's left everybody they've had to make a tough decision on has all been on the defensive side. Kind of similar to the Chiefs. I think, honestly, they're somewhat copying the Chiefs, their model. When you look at Cooper Kupp being the, Travis Kelce contract that they have on the offense, and Matthew Stafford being like the Patrick Mahomes contract, and then Chris Jones, of course, the Aaron Donald contract. So, they have, those kind of similarities. Looking at Kansas City with the two rookies, Watson and, the guy out of Washington, as well as, L'Jarius Sneed playing corner, younger secondary as a whole. I think the Rams are just kind of, at this point in time, now that McVay has committed to them long term, and he's past, doing all this retirement rumor type of stuff, the sense I get is that he wants to be a part of a true, built team that doesn't just build through getting rid of, all sorts of picks and making these trades, but building it the right way. And I think that this was always the plan, but it seems to me they sped it up after last year, which, I mean, you could say what you will. The defense kept them in every game going in the fourth quarter except for one. Had they had a normal offensive line and didn't have to start with 16, 17 different offensive linemen, they probably have a different type of season, but that wasn't what happened. And, you could call it a little bit of an overreaction, or you could call it, a proper reaction. And I think right now they're paying the price for the moves that they made, the money that they pushed in the future. They're now paying the price for that. So they have had to make these moves, and whether I disagree with them or not, because I think the NFC as a whole is probably the weakest it's ever been going into this year. This is what they've decided to do ultimately.
So I want to ask a question on Sean McVay. Obviously, he had the flirtation with television. We've talked about retirement. So I'm going to ask you in the most me way humanly possible. With 1 being how committed I am to the shirt I'm wearing right now, and 10 being how committed I am to my wife, where would you put Sean McVay's commitment to the Rams long term? Not just for a year, but are we done with the retirement talk on the whole?
I think we're done with the retirement talk. I think he went through a really bad spat in his career where you win the Super Bowl, you get a little complacent. I think the Rams as a whole got a little complacent. I think they had a wake-up call. When they waited all that time and they just assumed Von Miller was going to sign with them, and then he signed with the Buffalo Bills, it kind of ruined all their plans. They wanted to run it back. They wanted to bring back OBJ and all of that. But when Von Miller signed with the Bills, everyone had already signed. Every pass rusher had already signed. So when you hold out hope for one guy and then he signs, you have that money left over. So what do? Sometimes you make these rash decisions. And what we saw is that they used that money to go out and get Allen Robinson, a guy that really didn't fit what they normally do. He didn't fit the model. They even paid a linebacker, which they never do, although I will say he was fantastic last year, Bobby Wagner. But, they went against what they normally do. And so, I think they got complacent. I think they almost got like the desire to win a ring. I don't feel like was in the building as much as it was the year before. And, I think it was evident. I think that's why, McVay had an issue. He went through losing his grandfather, who really got him in touch with the game of football. All the injuries he went through, and, just the different things like, Von and the Buffalo Bills opening up the season in LA, just kicking them around and everything. I think it all kind of became one giant snowball effect. And I think Sean McVay started to lose interest so much so in honestly coaching. And then I think he got that love for it back when they got Baker Mayfield, and they didn't even have to win. It was fun for him again, going through that, having the comeback against the Raiders, having the Broncos game, being in the Seahawks game. I think he truly enjoyed coaching again, and I think he got that will to want to coach. And I think his thing was the reason he was really sitting on this is because he was deciding, if I, make this decision, it's going to be one way or the other. I'm either going to retire, step away from coaching, for the next 5 years, or I'm going to come back and coach for the next 5 to 10 years, and I think that was really the decision and why he ultimately, it was such a big headline, I think, But honestly, if they didn't get Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he's back with the Rams. I think that sparks his love for coaching again, believe it or not.
Joining us here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, Jake Ellenbogen. He is the host of the Downtown Rams podcast, as well as the Believe in Rams podcast. And Jake, I'm hearing a lot of static on your end. We're going to try to tough this out here just a little bit. But if you recently stepped near a microwave, step away for us. I'm hearing rumors though about the LA Rams not being done. That there may be another big blockbuster move coming from this team. I guess paring down even further the defensive side of the ball. Do you have any idea what you think that is?
Well, I don't think it would be anything where they are acquiring a talent. They really don't have any sort of cap space. I have, constant questions, comments, concerns, regarding, now that they moved Jalen, is there a big move coming? Les Snead has basically programmed this fan base to assume anytime there's a move, like when they traded Marcus Peters halfway through the season, they went out and got Jalen Ramsey. I don't believe that's the case. Now, again, never say never, but I don't believe that's the case. The Rams did try to make a last-ditch effort attempt to acquire Brian Burns. They offered the 2024 first-round pick, the 2025 first-round pick, and the second-round pick. I believe the third-round pick as well in this draft, right at the deadline. They didn't get him. They tried to get McCaffrey. They didn't get him. So now it seems like they have completely turned over a new leaf. Seems like they will want to get more picks, even though they really got fleeced and didn't get much out of the Ramsey trade. But it seems to me like they value picks at this point in the game. And I don't see a big move. I think one thing, if they're actually going to copy what the Chiefs are doing, like I was saying earlier, the Chiefs did go out and sign Justin Reed. So if the Rams were going to copy them, I would imagine they'd consider going out and getting a safety. Maybe Jesse Bates is probably too expensive, but maybe somebody like Julian Love from the Giants. But that is like the only thing I could see on the defensive side. Maybe they bring back Greg Gaines. But in reality, I think the only thing that could really happen is trading Allen Robinson at this point. Trading Matthew Stafford, you're going to incur about $70 million in dead money. So that's not really something you could do unless you trade picks with Stafford for somebody that's taken on that entire contract, which also just really doesn't seem realistic. So there's not a lot of ways they can really go about this. Not this year anyway, because they're only $3 million under the cap with everything they've done. And really next year, it feels like it's all about 2024. And I hate to say that, but it feels like it's all about 2024. They'll have $50 million in money, in cap space next year, according to over the cap, based on what they've done so far. They have a pathway to get over to close to $100 million in cap space, especially if Aaron Donald retires. So they're definitely looking at that. But I think really, if anything, they're trying to build up the offense. They're probably looking at it like, hey, if we can have this offense score a lot of points, then we won't really need a defense. Maybe we could get to the playoffs and maybe upset a team or whatever. But the Super Bowl is not on their mind right now. They're looking at 2024, 2025, 2026, and beyond. That's really where they're at. I don't see a big move, but again, never say never.
So interesting you said that about the future. With the NFC as down as it is, do you think that this nucleus could actually get back to a Super Bowl? Not this year, but moving forward. Or do you feel like now you're just kind of riding out the string to get to that salary cap space where you rebuild the nucleus? Or can a Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald core get back to where they want to be?
Well, I'll tell you now, I do believe that they will get that. Not this year, but I do believe that the NFL, I think it's a little bit easier to rebuild. The thing about the NFL is you have to have good coaching. And we saw, that 2016 Rams team that went 4-12, they brought pretty much all of those guys back for the most part. Added Whitworth and Woods and, Kupp and some of the guys they drafted. But a lot of those guys that came from the 2016 team. They played on that 4-12 team. They went 11-5 the next year with better coaching, with a completely new coaching staff. I think coaching really matters. And you look at the Giants, and what Brian Dable, when he did with that team was not a playoff team. That team did not have the talent, and Brian Dable led them there. And I feel like coaching is a big thing, and it's why, we saw for years the Rams just never hired the right coaches. They took a shot in the dark with Steve Spagnuolo. They hired Jeff Fisher, but those guys weren't guys that were taking them to the next level. And so I always, for years, felt like in St. Louis they had the talent, but they just never had the coaching. And so when I look at this team, I'm like, this team has talent. Even still, with all of the moves that they've done on the defense, they still have young talent. The problem is going to be, we see the NFL go in trends and everything. The problem is going to be right now, everyone wants a great offensive line. They're seeing what the Rams did last year without a great offensive line. They're seeing the teams in the Super Bowl that had great offensive lines. And the Rams have a lot of money committed to a left tackle who just suffered an injury that 30 to 40% of NFL players never return from, the Achilles tear. And they have about $17 million. That is, I believe, his cap hit this year in Joseph Noteboom. I mean, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to figure out a way to really build up that offensive line, I think, for starters. And then you look over at what the 49ers did today, going out and getting, Javon Hargrave, all ready to go with, Bosa and Arik Armstead and, Kinlaw. I mean, it's massive. You're going to have that offensive line. I think it's really important. But, to answer your question, I do think the Rams can get back, and I think they can get back pretty soon. You talk about 2019, Rams missed the playoffs the year after losing the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots. Then 2020, they went back to the playoffs. They won a playoff game. They were competitive against the Packers despite not having Aaron Donald fully healthy and not having Cooper Kupp. And then the next year they won the Super Bowl. I think we could see something like that where, maybe they make the playoffs as a late wild card or they miss it. And then the year after in 2024, they make some noise. And then 2025, they're back in the Super Bowl. But it depends on Matthew Stafford's health. And obviously Matthew Stafford's health goes hand in hand with the offensive line.
All right, Jake Ellenbogen, the host of the Downtown Rams and Believe in Rams podcast, here joining us in the Sportsocracy. The last question I have for you, Jeremy and I have been back and forth about that. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. He's a New York Jets fan. He has stood on the stance of it's not worth it to go all in to win a Super Bowl.
But my excuse for that is I've gone 12 years without making the playoffs. That's 3 presidential terms, and it really wears on your ability to love your team because you just have no hope.
My Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously went all in, won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Now that is over, and we're back to the dregs of the NFL, more than likely.
With Baker Mayfield.
Yes. If the L.A. Rams don't come back, if there's not this 1 year, 2 year bounce back for them, I guess the question has to be, is it worth it to have won a Super Bowl to go all in and hamstring yourself for years to come?
So I guess it really depends on who your coach is. Like, if you do this, like if they did this with Jeff Fisher and they won a Super Bowl with Fisher, I'd be like, okay. But you got Sean McVay. And I feel like, did they really have to go all in with Sean McVay? Did they really have to go all in with the guys Sean McVay brings in, the coaching staff he brings in? Did they have to go all – I mean, you could think of it in different ways. I mean, Jared Goff, for instance, when they had him, they didn't really go all in the way they went all in with Matthew Stafford. With Matthew Stafford, they're paying him a lot of money as it was, and then they're going out and getting those stars. With Goff, that is the formula to win Super Bowls. Because if you can get a rookie quarterback contract, you can go out and get Ndamukong Suh and Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, right? So you go out, you get those guys, Dante Fowler you trade for, and you can win a Super Bowl that way. And I think really we saw it with the Eagles because they didn't have to pay Jalen Hurts. So if you look at what Howie Roseman did, he went out and traded for Robert Quinn. He went out and paid Hassan Reddick. And I think it's not as simple as I would say just going all in. Like, I think it has to make more sense. Like, I thought the Rams found the perfect formula when they went all in with Jared Goff. I am not against them going all in to win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. I get it. But what I'm against is basically, I think you can't just back out now because you have Stafford and you have Donald, and I feel like you're wasting a year of their career that is, kind of dwindling at this point, right? So I feel like if you're going all in, it shouldn't be just 1 year. I'm not really a fan of just going all in for 1 year. I don't think the Bucs did that either. It didn't work out, multiple years, but they won a Super Bowl and they were still competitive. They made the playoffs every year with Brady. I think with the Rams, like they went, all in for the Super Bowl with Stafford, and then they, kind of went all in this year, but they didn't get, they missed out on Von Miller. And then this year, to me, like I was saying with the NFC being as weak as it is, I don't know why you're taking the foot off the gas pedal. Because the irony is, you're trading all these guys, but you're not getting anything in return. You're causing all of these needs. So there's these giant holes all over the team. And now you have to fill those holes with draft picks. You don't have a first rounder, right? And you're not getting great return. You cut 2 of the 3 top defensive guys, aside from Donald. So you cut those guys. You didn't get much in return. You have a lot of holes, and you only have $3 million cap space. So wouldn't it, in theory, have just been better while you still have Stafford under contract, you still have Aaron Donald, those guys are getting older, instead of wasting a year of their career where they know they're probably not going to win a ring? Wouldn't it have made more sense in a weak NFC to keep going all in, to push it down the road 1 more year? They would have had about $60 million in cap space. They probably would still have Ramsey. And even if they didn't, they could have reallocated those funds, and they would have been able to go out and get somebody else. And I feel like that's the big thing. And then in addition to that, since they kind of showed their hand by showing how cap-strapped they were and the decision they were making instead of pushing it down the road like other teams are doing, they're admitting to their defeat here and just like, all right, we won a Super Bowl, it's good, now we have to restart. The problem is now you have no leverage. Everyone knows that they can game you, and that's exactly what the Dolphins did for the Rams. So, I don't know. It's definitely tough. I mean, I think getting a Super Bowl is worth it because the last Super Bowl I saw was the Great Short Turf Rams, them win. And that was the only Super Bowl they won to that point. But I think when you have an elite coach like Sean McVay, who's the youngest coach in the NFL, going all in with that instead of letting him build a team the right way, I don't know if that was the best move. And it worked out, but there are some things like, I would be totally fine with them going all in again this year, but I feel like pushing back when you still have older guys on the roster, that's where they lose me on that. That's where it feels like they're buying into mainstream narrative that they literally just went all in for a title to get that, so they got the title before the Chargers, they established themselves in LA, and now it's like, okay, now we can build the team that we want. That's kind of how it feels. I'm not saying that's how they took it, but that's kind of how it feels.
Jake Ellenbogen, he is the host of the Downtown Rams podcast, also Believe in Rams podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at JKBogen, B-O-G-E-N. Thank you, Jake, for joining us here in the Sportsocracy, and you are always welcome to come back and join us anytime. The static on your phone, though, you'll have to leave that out next time.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Thanks,
it is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I don't know if he was driving through a wildfire or...
Well, I mean, he is a long way away from here.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, we've had a good number of connection issues in this studio. So.
Yeah, that is...
We got a lot of moving parts happening in here.
Right. It's going to be fun to see just how this turns out for the LA Rams. Is it all over? Is the window closed? I am one to believe that it is. The window has closed. Hopefully they'll be able to build something back up. They got a lot of draft picks that they can use. Well, a lot of them on day 3, but still, Jeremy, you tell me all time and time again, those are very valuable picks. So just because they have 4 in the 5th round and 7 in the 6th round and 8 in the 7th round,
you can rebuild a roster that way.
You can add some depth. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving is crawling in Haywood County, 40 westbound between NC 209 and US 276 near Clyde, 40 westbound near Fines Creek Road. An accident. Shoulder is closed. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and Bavard Road. Sardis Road northbound slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road. Delays. Hendersonville Road southbound light delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. I'm Lynn Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Yep, we're going full Aaron Rodgers, hitting it a little early today here in the
Aaron Rodgers is not
Sportsocracy.
hitting anything early. We are halfway through this show, and we haven't even so much as seen a plume of high. Watch the smoke!
Are we looking for the black smoke or the white smoke?
I don't know.
Just any kind of
I
smoke.
don't do crimes.
Because where there's smoke, there's fire.
Where there's smoke, there's Aaron Rodgers. All right? So, okay.
It's time to get weird. Last week, a man walking his dog on Staten Island. The dog made a discovery. When the dog pulled up something out of the ground that obviously kind of sent the man into a frenzy. And it sent authorities into a frenzy as well. It was a human hand. The dog
That's not good.
Yeah, the dog was walking along the tree line and found a human hand. And, of course, authorities went and they did all the testing, and the results are back, and now we know who the hand belongs to. It actually belongs to a 63-year-old woman who died in 2011. She's buried nearby. Let me say that again. She's buried about a mile away from where the hand was found.
Why do I have a funny feeling this is going to have a dog in it at some point?
No, this is well, the dog was the one that found the hand. Here's the thing. She was buried at a place called Resurrection Cemetery. It's a Catholic burial ground on the south shore of Staten Island. Now, there, they apparently, or at least she was, buried in a wooden box. So she had a wooden casket. How do you think this happened? Well, they were burying somebody next to her. And the dig went a little too far into her lane and severed her hand with the bulldozer. And then, rather than putting it in the other person's grave, that fill dirt ended up going to the tree line about a mile away. They say at the cemetery that it is going to be, how did they put it, reinterred respectfully. But our bad, we cut your grandma's hand off while we were digging another grave.
Be better at your job. My story is from Arapahoe County, Colorado. And, of course, as many weird stories do begin, it starts at a Taco Bell.
Aha.
Man, whose name he is not identified by name in the story, but he was at a Taco Bell and apparently got into an altercation with some of the employees. Don't know if he was upset about his order. Don't know.
Okay.
But apparently he had asked for a drink, and they gave him a burrito instead. I don't know how you mess those two things up, or if the burrito was compensation for something. Not sure. So the man goes to his truck, drives to where he's going, is consuming the Taco Bell along the way. After a few hours, he begins to feel ill, which I can only assume because they say this takes place over the course of 6 hours. And if you left Taco Bell in a hot car over the course of 6 hours, I think I can figure out how this went.
It only makes it better.
He became ill, and he thought it was from the burrito that he had consumed. So he takes the burrito with him to the ER. When they unwrap the burrito, they find a greenish substance in the burrito.
Never good.
Do you care to take a stab at what that substance was?
The meat.
Rat poison.
What?
I'm not done. So the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department opened an investigation, and somehow they have managed to clear every person in that Taco Bell from being the one that put the rat poison in the man's burrito. Here's what they believe happened. Now, and this is you think I'm a conspiracy theorist? Wait till you hear this theory. They believe he left the burrito sitting on his dashboard.
Okay.
He confirmed that he did indeed do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not keep eyes on the burrito at all times. They believe some mysterious third party came in and sprinkled rat poison on his burrito and sauntered away.
I'm calling BS.
I am no detective, but I live by a very simple philosophy of if you hear hoofbeats, it makes a lot more sense to assume horses than zebras. So you got into an altercation with the people that gave you the food. There was rat poison in the food. And yet somehow you cleared all of those people. I really would like to know how that interrogation went. Did you do it?
No.
Good enough for me. Our work here is done.
Right.
And, of course, it's in Colorado, so I'm not even vaguely surprised.
Just some random person just going around, just waiting. Just so happened to have a little bit of rat poison in my pocket right here. Just in case, somebody cuts me off in traffic and they happen to leave a burrito on their dashboard.
I mean, that feels as though it's an aggressive way of getting back at someone.
That's so ridiculous. I think it's time for new law enforcement there in
Arapahoe
County, Colorado.
Not only do I like the cut of your jibs, I like the names of your county.
The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. They might be their favorite stop is not the donut shop. It's got to be the dispensary because you got to be high. You got to be high to have that kind of opinion.
We have.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
It's not the one that we've all been waiting for, Captain Ayahuasca himself, but it is a big signing, and it is a player leaving one team and going to a new team. This is also probably the least surprising signing of the day. Jesse Bates is expected to sign with the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, okay. I think you had you had targeted that weeks ago.
That was the worst kept secret on the planet. Jesse Bates was with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and somebody else last night.
Oh, was he?
If you want to keep this a secret, being out in public with a bunch of your soon-to-be teammates is not a great way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good signing. $16 million per year, fourth most ever for a safety. So, I mean, that's a good signing for Atlanta.
Very good.
I would say that's the center of your defense.
I would have to agree with that as well. Well, I mean, him and A.J. Terrell.
No doubt. That's I like where Atlanta is trending. They had, I believe, the second most money of any team in the NFL, and that's a good get. Also, Alex Anzalone, 3 years, $18.7 million with the Detroit Lions.
Carolina Panthers have already been involved in free agency discussions today, getting Von Bell from the Cincinnati Bengals and Shy Tuttle also coming over to bolster the run defense. See what else they can pull off here in the Sportsocracy.
Listen here, Ayahuasca team. You got an hour and 25 minutes before this show's over. I need this done.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The San Francisco 49ers, they made a big splash today in free agency, signing Javon Hargrave. What else do they need to do in this offseason to be a return team to the Super Bowl next year?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slowing between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Smoky Park Highway southbound approaching Pisgah Highway, a few light delays. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound, drive time 20 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. You're keeping up with updated traffic and weather, but are you doing the same when it comes to COVID-19? Sign up now for reliable info on COVID-19 and a vaccine option, resources, and more at PfizerCovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get all off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
The San Francisco 49ers. I mean, with the Philadelphia Eagles taking some steps back here, having holes to fill, losing guys in free agency, San Francisco may or may not have climbed their way to the favorite spot in the NFC in this upcoming season. The addition of Javon Hargrave from the Philadelphia Eagles today, it kind of cements San Francisco at the top.
Let's see, I'm never going to jump that far over a defensive tackle, especially one who had never been as good as he was this year. Now, having Bosa on one side of you, that certainly helps. I'm just not there yet. I can't look at Trey Lance and Brock Purdy and jump up and down about it. Look, I like this team. This is a very good roster. But you're telling me because you signed a defensive tackle who is absolutely irrelevant against the run, now all of a sudden you're the favorite in the NFC? Yeah, I don't agree with you. You also lost your right tackle, who, in spite of the fact he was real bad in the NFC Championship game, has been a talented player on this team for a long time. I mean, the Denver Broncos didn't give him $11 jillion because he's terrible. So my biggest question is, what are you planning on doing at quarterback? You know, the surgery for Brock Purdy was a success because, of course, it was.
6-month time frame for his return.
Start throwing in 3. Be ready right about the start of the season. I still don't buy he's anything more than a backup in this league. I think he will be the backup to Trey Lance. He'll have the leg up for the entire camp for all of the preseason. So you're going in doing this with Trey Lance again. One of my bigger questions is, how many times can you have your staff just rated before it shows? I'm not doubting how talented this roster is. I do not really understand the fit with Steve Wilks as your new defensive coordinator. That didn't make a whole ton of sense to me. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good coordinator. He just doesn't do what the 49ers have done forever. So I think you may see more of a regression on that defense than you think. I mean, you got to understand, Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans did a great job of covering up that this secondary is not very good. And now you're going to lose Jimmy Ward. You're going to lose Charles Omenihu, Azeez Al-Shahir. That's a lot. Samson Abukum. That's a ton of players to lose off this defense. So in the NFC, where do you put them right now?
They're a solid 2, maybe 1.
I can't figure out how you get to them ahead of San Francisco or ahead of Philadelphia. One of them has a borderline elite quarterback. The other has a guy that next to me would look like a small child. Or Trey Lance, who is the great Sam Squanch of the NFL. You keep telling me you see great things in him, but I never see it.
Right.
It just shows up in grainy footage from when he was at North Dakota State. So I'm not as in love with this team as you are.
I think it's a very good team.
I think it's a very good roster. It just comes back to how many teams in the NFC are better than you at quarterback? Because it's a lot.
Is it a lot? I mean, it's
Philadelphia for sure.
Well, yeah.
I would say Dallas. The Giants are close. Yeah, I mean, I get it. $40 million for Daniel Jones didn't make a whole lot of sense.
There's more experience there. I get it.
Detroit, Minnesota. I don't want to argue Chicago, but I think I kind of have to because they have a quarterback that I've seen do what you keep telling me your guy can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to New Orleans, Carolina with whoever the number one pick in the draft is. I mean, that's a lot of teams that I can't say definitively they're better than you at the most important position in football, but it's at least worth talking about.
Of course it is. When you have inexperience in your quarterback room, it's never a good thing.
I would also love to know how you went into today with $6 million and somehow managed to sign Javon Hargrave for $80. That math don't math.
Because it doesn't matter.
The NFL where the numbers are made up.
Void years and roster bonuses and all that. We can figure out a way to make it work. And San Francisco is a team that has it at every level. They have stars at every level.
But they've never been able to get over the hump.
Right.
And now you're telling me you're on your third coordinator, you're on defensive coordinator. You have all this instability with players leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my free agent ranks, they had 7 of the top 50. That's a lot of talent to lose, and just tell me you're going to lather up and do it again because you've got a bunch of third-round picks. Look, I'm not saying they're going to crater off the cliff. I still think they're the best team in the NFC West, but I do think Seattle is way closer than people want to let on.
Yes. I mean, I have.
To me, they're 1A and 1B.
In the division?
Yes. They're 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
You got to understand, Seattle's going to add probably the best player in this draft because the top 4 picks in this draft are almost invariably going to be quarterbacks. So that means Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, whoever it is you want, you're getting ready to add that to a defense that's going to bring back Jamal Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And the replenishment for San Francisco is you have 11 picks, but none of them are on day 1. You have 3 of the last 4 picks on day 2 and then 8 in day 3, and you just think you're going to restack that roster that way. Look, I like this draft. I think it's deep. But I just feel like you're going to be asking a lot of a slew of rookies, and you're asking a lot of a very little quarterback that basically got hurt the first really good shot he took.
Mm-hmm.
Or a third-year quarterback that is about as much of an unknown as Jordan Love.
Should they have gone all in to get a veteran quarterback? You couldn't.
No.
You're stuck in a space where you got to go Trey Lance.
Well, I mean, this is the reason that trading up, a lot of people get really amped up when you trade up for quarterbacks. It is shocking how often that does not work because you give up so much that you can't put everything around them. And so you just look at the roster. I can't figure out exactly what you're going to do on the offensive line. I've heard a lot of people talking about how many right tackles there are in this draft. You're right, but San Francisco is not going to have access to any of them. That's why I could easily see them trading up to get somebody like Darnell Wright or DeJuan Jones.
Use those 3 threes, those compensatory picks to move up?
It wouldn't shock me.
Into the second
especially if one of them fell because they do fit in that system so well. I'm looking at the 49ers going, okay, so we were just talking about the Rams and how this team was so top-heavy and you had issues in the middle part of the roster and the bottom of the roster looked like an XFL team. There's a path that San Francisco gets there quicker than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have Matthew Stafford. They have Trey Lance and Brock Purdy.
Right.
So I'm not saying they're going to fall off the cliff. I'm just there seems to be a narrative today that signing Javon Hargrave all of a sudden makes you clearly the best team in the NFC. I don't see that because Philadelphia absolutely annihilated you. And Brock Purdy don't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have any solutions to Jalen Hurts or anything they did. And now you got a new play caller. It's just there's a lot of instability here, and I don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I still think they're a top 3 or 4 team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
But they make me nervous than any of the others in that highest tier.
That defense absolutely scares me. And look, I'm gonna lean on Kyle Shanahan to put together an offense here that is gonna be threatening. They've got all of the pieces. They still have Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, and hopefully they'll be able to have a fully healthy Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. And I like the weapons for this team. It's just, can your quarterback get it done?
We have two of these. From Ian Rappaport, the Steelers are signing Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
All right.
There's a corner.
That is a corner.
He's 48 years old, but okay.
Well, he's not that old, and I think in that system it will hide the fact that his physical skills are diminishing. In Pittsburgh, I'm okay with it. I watched them do the same thing with Joe Hayden. They brought him in the latter stages of a career, and all of a sudden he was a Pro Bowl corner again. And then one that I really like, Abanya Okoronkwo from the Houston Texans is signing with the Cleveland Browns.
There you go.
3 years, $19 million, can go as high as 22. That's one of my favorite signings of the day.
So is that the run stopper that they needed?
No, that's just a really talented edge. A really high pass rush win rate. Didn't play as many snaps in Houston. That he will be the opposite of Myles Garrett. And you mark my words, you will look at him a year from now, much the way you looked at Alex Highsmith this year, of, okay, in this system with realistic big boy talent, which the Cleveland Browns have defensively, you'll see how good this kid actually is. Big loss for Houston. I'm dumbfounded they didn't try harder to bring him back.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling 26 eastbound between Hendersonville Road and Chimney Rock Road. 26 on the westbound side, stop and go between Airport Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no backups. On the Charlotte Highway, no problems. Checking the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via 240 westbound and 40 eastbound, drive time 14 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza, fries. Whoa, Braley, no, pizza.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina.
I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Scott?
Back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, this is the Sportsocracy, and it is that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. The madness of the March season has come down. Look, we've got the brackets out, and that means it's time for us to start our own bracket. As we do each and every year, we do a bracket to coincide with the basketball tournaments. We've done what, best TV shows?
That was our first one. We've done most overrated bands.
Yes.
Y'all let Creed get way further in that than you should have, and I'm still a little bitter about it.
That's fine.
Not overrated. It's
I
most
saw
underrated.
a lot of tweets this weekend. Hey, went and saw Creed, and I was like, "Why would?" Oh, the movie. Okay, yeah.
Not the band.
No. Scott Stapp's not out here having the world tour, although they may be on tour.
Although
I have no idea.
Creed reunion tour 2023. Let's go. Let's speak that into existence. Because I'm all the way down. I would be in the front row, shirtless, and just 17 domestic lights in.
He'd pay a Blink 182 type ticket prices for that.
Yeah, I don't understand. I never understood why people spent that much to see. They weren't that good in 1999.
And bingo. So what is the bracket going to be this year? We're going to put it out on social media. You got an idea for what bracket we should do this year? You let us know. We've got best rapper, which we've been asked to do several times.
This will be
Jeremy
the third
has been
year.
asked to do several times because I will be no help in that category.
Tank leaned on Busta Rhymes earlier, which
greatest of all time.
That would be
It's
like looking at the NCAA tournament bracket and going, UC Santa Barbara's really got a chance to win this thing.
I don't understand your hatred of Busta Rhymes.
Because you've got a slew of historic rappers that are like the filet mignon of the rap game, and you keep bringing up a guy that is an Arby's roast beef sandwich. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying it doesn't really belong in this conversation.
So there again, Jeremy is all the way in on best rapper.
I'm not all the way in on anything.
I am all the way in on best wrestler.
Best professional wrestler.
Best professional wrestler of all time. I mean, there are so many ways that you could go with that. You can have the great gimmicks bracket. You could have, of course, the baby faces, the heels, the tag teams. Maybe we should have a separate tag team. I don't know. The possibilities are endless there for me. Rapper, it's Sugar Hill Gang and Busta Rhymes, and we don't need anybody else involved.
Wow. When I said you would be of no help, I did not realize you would actually be a full-on detriment.
100%. Dana Dane. All the way in.
Okay, let's go to break before he says Belle Biv DeVoe, because I feel like that's coming.
That's hip hop R&B. That's not rapper. Come on. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The Daily Draft, stock up, stock down from the weekend is next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling 26 eastbound between Hendersonville Road and Chimney Rock Road. 26 on the westbound side, stop and go between Airport Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound in Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no backups. On the Charlotte Highway, no problems. Checking the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village. via 240 westbound and 40 eastbound. Drive time 14 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. 2 for $6. The best deal in fast food. When you want the best deal on the best meal, choose Wendy's 2 for $6. Pick from Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece Crispy Nugs, or a medium strawberry lemonade. Pair any two for just $6. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. 2 for $6.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is now at Taco Bell. 2 servings of grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer inside, plus grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another quarterback domino has fallen. No, not that one. ESPN's Diana Rossini and Adam Schefter reporting Jimmy Garoppolo is signing with the Raiders. 3 years, $67.5 million, $34 million guaranteed. Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels was Garoppolo's offensive coordinator in New England, and their familiarity will pay off for Vegas, says ESPN NFL front office insider Louis Riddick.
He's going to be one of those guys who, with the quick play-action passing game and attacking the middle of the field, getting the ball out quick, making great decisions, putting the ball in good locations, utilizing tight ends and backs out of the backfield. Also, obviously, the deep passing game component is going to be a big part in this offense because that's something that Devontae really does excel at.
Devontae adds in Raiders receiver Devontae Adams. Bears giving Bills linebacker Tremaine Edmonds 4 years, $72 million, $50 million guaranteed. 49ers with a big addition to their already vaunted defensive line. Schefter reports that they agreed on a 4-year, $84 million contract with Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. Falcons agreed with Bengals safety Jesse Bates III, 4 years, $65 million.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 locally, and you can hear us everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. See us as well on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Get in your suggestions for what is our bracket supposed to be this year.
The further down this rabbit hole we're going, I think it is pro wrestlers. Because the first 2 rounds of rappers will be an absolute annihilation. Mm-hmm. Like, we will not have one that's within 60%.
Probably not.
As it doesn't matter who we put. There's a bunch of them that like Nas. Okay. Who in the world are you going to get that even stays in the ballpark until the Elite Eight?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're all just wrong, which is entirely possible.
Just wrong.
And I will fight you, and I could possibly see this making me just horribly angry. Because I'm telling you right now, if we get to Drake and Nas, and that's not 100-0, I'm going to hurt some people's feelings. I will call you out by name.
Yeah. So should it be best rapper? Should it be best wrestler? We've also gotten greatest teams of all time has been mentioned. I think our good friend Football Farley, Brian Haynes, threw that one out in the chat earlier. So we'll take all the suggestions.
We're going to put up a poll on social media after the show, and we'll let you vote for a calendar day. And that's what the masses speak. We also have one of these. Jamel Dean has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What?
I tried to tell you. I don't know that yet, but I have a funny feeling it's going to be a whole mess of monies.
Yikes. Salary cap doesn't matter.
No. you are going to have signed him for a whole mess of money.
Just got under the cap, too. Just got under the cap yesterday.
That didn't last long.
And that didn't last long because you're going to sign Jamel Dean probably $15-16 million a year.
I'll go 4 years, 64. That would be my – I would think he and Jesse Bates are going to be in a pretty close proximity.
Okay. Top of the third hour of the program here in the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the daily draft to stock up, stock down from the weekend. And who's got first pick here?
That would be I.
All right.
And for me, this is not really a difficult choice.
Okay.
It's Hubert Davis. How in the world do you go from preseason number 1 to not in the tournament? A tournament which, by the way, my West Virginia Mountaineers are a 9. I understand that doesn't mean a lot to the masses, but as somebody that obviously follows my school very closely, they are bad. Bad. And the committee looked at that and went, yeah, that's better than North Carolina. And it's not really all that close.
No, it's not all that close. This is a team that did not deserve to make the NCAA tournament.
Did it shock you that they were the third team out?
It was. I was shocked when they went. Here's the first 4 out, and Carolina was on that list. I went, oh God, this is a bad field.
Well, I tried to tell you.
Right.
I tried to tell you that the bubble was as soft as the contents of a small child's diaper. But even that got me. It just tells me that they put way too much in the net. The net ranking means way too much.
Yep.
The fact that Wake Forest didn't get in the NIT makes me angry, too. That's stupid. The fact you let Villanova in stop. College basketball, I really want to love you as much as I used to, and you make it hard.
Well, for the NIT, this isn't about, to me, it's not about putting all the best teams in it. You got to have something to sell this thing because you're not going to anyway. I mean, nobody's really tuning in for these games anyway. We're all consumed with the Cinderella stories of the big tournament. Who cares who's in the NIT? So you try to go and grab fan bases. Villanova's a good fan base to have. North Carolina's a good fan base to have. Wake Forest? I'm not buying it.
By the way, the number on Jamel Dean, 4 years, $52 million.
Ooh.
That is lower than I thought it would be.
I like that.
That shows that he did not have much of a market.
Which is surprising to me.
It's not to me because he's so scheme-specific.
Does really well in the coverage scheme of
Yeah.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, the let things develop in front of you and you react to it. Not so much on the, hey, they have a number 1 receiver. You go lock up that guy.
All right, you went stock down for Hubert Davis, the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. I cannot disagree with you. It was bad that you were left out of the tournament. I think you did the only thing you could do by turning down the invitation to the NIT.
No doubt.
But
that would have almost been a slap in the face.
But it is still a bad look.
To turn down the NIT?
Yes.
I don't think it's a bad look at all. Why does anybody care about that tournament? I mean, it will get tens and tens of viewers. Oh, it's on our network. Okay. I mean, I can put lipstick on this pig if you want me to, but it's still a pig. Villanova is traveling to Liberty. I want you to think about what I just said.
Yeah, that was not going to happen for the Tar
I
Heels.
would just love to know how that conversation went. We know you won a national title a few years ago, and you hired the loyal, long-time assistant. Neptune's his last name, but I can't think of his first name. And we're going to invite you to the NIT. Kyle Neptune, that is it. But you have to travel to Liberty. I believe I will pass.
All right, mine is a stock up. And it's stock up for the UNC Asheville Bulldogs. They got selected as a 15 seed. They'll take on UCLA in the opening round of the tournament on Thursday night. You'll hear it right here on ESPN Asheville, as well as our sister station, News Radio 570 WWNC. We'll be doing the simulcast for the midnight special. They tip off at 10 o'clock on Thursday night. And UNC Asheville has never gotten this kind of love before. Never.
Oh, no, there are a lot of people who think they can legitimately beat UCLA,
Absolutely.
and I'm one of them.
I don't know about that.
UCLA's down to 6 healthy players.
Well, that
That's
factors
daunting.
in. Yeah, that is daunting. I don't know if they'll be able to pull off an upset, but there are a lot of people picking it, and including the Billustrator. Jay Billis says that's one of the most likely upsets in the first round, at least on the 2-15 matchup.
I would agree. I feel like the committee leaned too much on the conference and the net rating and things like that, and didn't really pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Furman College, Charleston, and UNCA are all seated too low. This is one of those years, I'm telling you right now, you're going to see a bloodletting of high-end seeds.
Mm-hmm.
I will bet you there are 4 double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16. Because there is so little difference between I look at Virginia, who got absolutely annihilated by Boston College, and now they're taking on a Furman team that, I'll level with you, I think has more high-end talent than Virginia does.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that it's all that close.
Mm-hmm. I think the regional teams definitely got some favorable matchups in the first round. UNC Asheville, obviously, it would be a major thing if they could pull off an upset against a 2 seed, but they're built for it, and everybody sees it. From Clark Kellogg on down to Jay Billis, they're all talking on the selection shows and the recap shows about UNC Asheville and Drew Pember and Tajon Jones. These guys are getting national publicity, and I absolutely love it because, like I said, never before has this ever happened before. Even in the J.P. Prim, Matt Dickey years, we never got this kind of national love.
And they don't even, and the national guys don't even know about the legend of the meatball sandwich.
This is true.
And that game is on my birthday. There is a convocation of things here, all coming together. Just saying. Mr. Superstitious has a lot of check marks in his column.
Mm-hmm.
And
then I'm going Scotty Scheffler.
That makes me want to fight you a lot.
Look, here's the thing. The championship games in college basketball were not that great this weekend.
I watched 10 times more of the golf than I watched of any college basketball.
I did as well, because it was the one thing that was competitive that I was watching, and it wasn't even really all that competitive. I mean,
oh no, Scotty walked the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the only thing that kept you tied to this was, oh yeah, he has to hit into that green on 17.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he do? Just steps up and absolutely stripes one to about 8 feet.
Right. Matsuyama and Victor Hovland and some of those guys, they threatened for a little while with the top line, but Scotty Scheffler ended up walking away with the victory. He becomes the new number 1 in the world, taking over from John Rahm, and he had a little good luck charm this weekend. Did you see this, Jeremy? He had a special visitor with him.
Yeah, his grandmother.
His grandmother.
She walked all 72 holes.
His 88-year-old grandmother walked all 72 holes with Scotty Scheffler over the weekend. He had a dominant win at the Players' Championship, as Jeremy likes to refer to it, and golf insiders like to refer to it as the 5th major. He gets the win, goes to number 1, and Granny was there for all of it.
And she walked all 72 holes.
Hats off to her. 88 years old. Hey, I don't even know if I could walk 72 holes in a weekend at 40.
Yeah.
Good for Grandma.
It was the temperature was conducive this week. You would have had a shot. You do that at Quail Hollow in July, and tank drops on hole 4. Well, since you stole Scotty Scheffler, I'm not going to say piggyback on it. I'm just going to elaborate a little further. Stock up to the PGA.
Okay.
Because somehow, even knowing what sawgrass is and knowing going in every single year, it never disappoints. 17 at Sawgrass is unlike anything you'll ever see in golf. It is a big stadium hole where the green is about the size of, I'll say, 8 cars side by side, if you stacked them together. And there's about 20 total feet where you can hit that tee shot and it not wind up in the water. And it is an absolute circus of people just losing their minds. There were a couple hole-in-ones. It's just Sawgrass is – there are certain things that should never, ever be moved, and the players being at Sawgrass is one of those. That is where this belongs forever and for always. And it beat everything this weekend, and it wasn't all that close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. I have a feeling.
We need to hit the button.
The San Francisco 49ers have reached agreement on a one-year deal with Sam Darnold.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one.
For $5 hairs.
No, it's going to be more than that. That's an interesting one. Because what that tells me is that they feel like they need a safety net.
Mm-hmm.
And that safety net is Sam Darnold.
Probably the most economical safety net you could have.
And probably the best quarterback in that.
I'm not going there.
Physical talent. Who has more of it, Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy? It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we need to take a break, but we're going to talk about that coming back because I'll be honest with you, that's going to be one of my stock up, stock downs.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Travis time ago, 26 westbound between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. 26 on the eastbound side, slowing approaching Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 eastbound slowing approaching Chimney Rock Road. And 26 eastbound delays near the US 25 connector in East Flat Rock. 40 westbound crawling in Haywood County between NC 209 and US 276. Patton Avenue southbound approaching New Leicester Highway is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better," unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick-ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
We are back at the Sportsocracy inside the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. It is stock up, stock down from the weekend, the daily draft here on a Monday. Number 1 stock down for Jeremy Greene. Hubert Davis, the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, as they miss out on the NCAA tournament and denied the invitation to the NIT.
And barely have a top 25 recruiting class coming in next year.
UNC Asheville. I went stock up for the weekend because never has UNC Asheville gotten this kind of national press. Between Clark Kellogg talking about them on the selection show, the Jay Billis just going on and on about Tajon Jones and Drew Pember on ESPN yesterday. We've never gotten this kind of attention on a national scale. They get a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament. We'll have that game against UCLA, the 2 seed in the West, coming up for you on Thursday night right here on ESPN Asheville. Pregame starts at 9:30. Tip-off set for just after 10 o'clock. And then I went stock up for Scotty Scheffler, who won the Players' Championship this weekend and has reclaimed number 1 in the world over John Rahm. Also took home like a cool $4.5 million on that, so good for him. And then Jeremy went stock up for the PGA as a whole. With the basketball not as good as you wanted it to be this weekend with some of the championship games, there were a lot of eyeballs on the Players' Championship, despite the fact that Scotty Scheffler just kind of cruised to victory.
My next stock up is going to come as a bit of a surprise to people that have listened to this show for any period of time. It's the Chicago Bears. I like what you got back for the number 1 pick. I was stunned that you got that much because I didn't think that package was coming. In a quarterback class where there's not the sure thing. And then you get Tremaine Edmonds today and Nate Davis. And I'm looking at Chicago going, okay, do I believe in Justin Fields? No, I don't. But you have set yourself up nicely, if I'm right, a year from now to get the quarterback and have a roster that is ready to compete.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Chicago for me has always been that you stepped out of line and got Justin Fields with a roster that was just bereft of talent. So you missed all the time of him on the rookie deal. Now you at least have a backboard, which is something that I haven't been able to say with Chicago for a long time. And now you're really adding to the talent level.
Mm-hmm. All right, my next stock up for the weekend, it's going to go to the AAC tournament champion Memphis Tigers. Old Penny Hardaway. We were just talking on Friday about how former players, they never work. Now, has this been as good as you hoped it would be?
Oh, good Lord, no.
No. I mean, remember all of the talk with James Weissman coming in, Boogie Ellis, and all those guys that were going to just make Memphis a contender for a national championship right away, and then it all came crumbling down very, very quickly. It's the first championship that Anthony Hardaway has been able to celebrate as a head coach in college basketball. Memphis takes down Houston. Granted, they were without Marcus Sasser, so you call it what you will, but Memphis pulling off the win Memphis pulling off the conference tournament win and going into the NCAA tournament with a winnable matchup in their first round against Florida Atlantic. I think it has to be stock up for Coach Penny and his Tigers. And then I'm going Miami Dolphins. Got to go stock up for getting Jalen Ramsey. I felt like you pulled off a move there that was bold. You got a name. Is he going to work on the field? I don't really see how it shouldn't, But there again, I said the same thing when they had two $20 million cornerbacks before, and they were still bad against the pass. So
yes.
Will this fix anything? I don't know. But for right now, you got Miami Dolphins fans excited. Jalen Ramsey comes into the defensive scheme there, and we shall see how it goes. But I didn't feel like you gave up way too much to get him.
No, not in terms of the trade compensation. The contract is still not beautiful, and I'm just not sure where he falls in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're going into a division that has Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson. Well, that's end of message. Repeat the line, but those two, it's pretty daunting in and of itself. You know, I feel like I have to do this. I've already said it, but I think I have to do it again. Stock down for the NCAA.
Okay.
I do not know how you get these seeds wrong every single year. I cannot wrap my head around it. Teams that are right on the bubble yet somehow end up as an 8-9 because you're so worried about geography and well, we can't have somebody that's played 3 times. And so you wind up with a team and I'm a West Virginia guy, but they're not a 9. Straight up, they're not. And it messes with the way you do your brackets, and it's just every single year I complain about this. This is what happens when you get a committee together and half of them are basketball people and half of them are not. And you're so worried about logistics and things like that. It's just dumb. By the way, Virginia is not a 4 seed. I will continue to say that until they are bounced out of this tournament really early, and I will walk off saying, see, I told you so.
And very well could be in the first round as they take on Bob Ritchie and the Furman Paladins.
That's where I think it'll be. And you know what? This one's a little self-serving, but we are now to 5:26, and we still have nothing, so I'm going stock down for the New York Jets just in this stuff.
Stock down. Why?
Because I see how this is going to end.
Which is?
You're going to be left holding the bag. There's no reason this shouldn't be done. I mean, you're making yourselves look like morons because you are now beholden to a 39-year-old quarterback. You don't have anywhere else to go. I mean, name me the solution. Let's just say Aaron decides he wants to go wax surfboards or whatever he does. He wants to go live in a hole in the woods and talk to elves and smoke crimes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do now?
Draft Stetson Bennett.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever actually said out loud. I mean, but you go into this saying, I will do anything for a veteran quarterback. Where do you go? Because there is a solution. You become the one team that is willing to give a fully guaranteed deal to Lamar Jackson, and the entire league will mock you. The entire league will mock you because you don't have anywhere else to go. It gets very Jacoby Brissett in a hurry. And so you've gone full in on we're going to get the veteran and we are going to be a contender. And this guy's making it perfectly clear. Nothing has changed. He is barely invested in you. He will take your money, possibly, but he is going to absolutely put you at his mercy, and you fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Jets gon' jet.
All right, and the final stock up, stock down for the weekend. I've got another stock up. Who's shocked? I love giving out participation trophies here. And this one is going to Merab Dvalishvili, who ended up just beating the snot out of Petr Yan at the UFC Fight Night over this weekend. He is now the #1 contender in the bantamweight division.
The greatest stat I've ever heard. He broke the takedown attempt record in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
The previous record was 33 by Cain Velasquez, I think in 2015 or 16. He had 49.
He did.
He broke it by 16 attempts, and he was successful at 11 of them.
Yep. He had a perfect plan just to keep it close.
It was
keep him on the ground.
An annihilation.
It was.
It's one of the only 50-45 fights I've ever seen, and it was 50-45 on every card.
Absolutely.
It was a clean sweep, no doubt. And Petr Yan's a talented fighter. But it was very obvious which of the two of them is better.
Well, now Dvalishvili is more than likely going to get a shot at the title. against Aljamain Sterling. Should Aljamain hold on to his belt as he faces Henry Cejudo coming up. I think that's next month. If it's not next month, it's in May. That's going to be a great fight. But Dvalishvili putting himself in the discussion for the bantamweight title. And again, it was just a dominating performance against a fighter that I really like, Petr Yan. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Hopefully, we'll have some breaking news coming up for Jeremy soon.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic time ago, 26 westbound between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. 26 on the eastbound side, slowing approaching Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 eastbound slowing approaching Chimney Rock Road. And 26 eastbound delays near the US 25 connector in East Flat Rock. 40 westbound crawling in Haywood County between NC 209 and US 276. Patton Avenue southbound approaching New Leicester Highway is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
What's up? I'm Tyrese Maxey, 21st overall pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, a guard for the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm doing my very first podcast, Maxey on the Mic.
Tyrese! Oh, my goodness!
We'll talk about games, catch up with some of my favorite NBA players, talk travel, food, music, who knows what else. Listen to Maxey on the Mic on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you go to get your podcast.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
It is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, Georgia. There was a crime done in Georgia, and this is one of those where I'm not real sure the punishment fit the actual crime. In Chatham County, this was, last Tuesday, a man who owns Southbound Auto Sales, his name is Mike Abelharb. He came into work around 9:15 in the morning, which seems weird for an auto shop to not open until 9:15. But what do I know? He must do good business. He can have those bankers type hours at the car lot. Anyway, he came in to work around 9:15 and immediately was surprised when he found a dead man in his auto bay. He called the police. They came and investigated, and it turns out that the man who was found dead inside the auto shop, well, he was trying to steal a catalytic converter from one of the cars, and the lift snapped or broke or something. He got crushed to death for trying to steal a catalytic converter. Catalytic converters, those are worth how much on the market, Jeremy?
$400 US.
Not even close. It's about $100. About $100 to sell a catalytic converter, and we talk about the FAFO scale a lot. And you got to ask yourself, is $100 worth possibly being crushed to death? I'm going to go with no.
Well, the ironic part of your story, as often happens here, yours was not even the story of the worst carjacker of the day. Mine is about a 22-year-old woman in South Denver, Colorado. 9 minutes.
Okay.
9 minutes.
It's not a whole lot.
She attempted 4 carjackings. How many cars did she successfully jack?
0.
It is 0. The 22-year-old woman pointed a gun at 8 people, fired 3 shots, hit no one, and stole no cars. This story unfolded roughly 1:50 on this past Monday. She's in a parking lot at the intersection of East Hampton Avenue and South Dahlia Street. 2 co-workers in the parking lot noticed a piece of clothing on the ground beside a truck and believed the clothing had recently been stolen from another co-worker during a vehicle break-in. They confronted a woman who was at the truck. She responded by pointing a gun at them, and they ran. The woman grabbed 2 bags from the truck, and she ran. She then attempted to carjack a man who was sitting nearby in his vehicle, but the man gave her the wrong set of keys. He took the keys and walked away and gave her a dummy set of keys. Nothing she could do with the car.
Awesome.
So she gets out of that car. She then approached a man pumping gas and pointed a gun at him and his brother. They gave up their wallet and their keys. Woman fired 1 shot as they fled. They locked the truck.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't get in the truck. So she then runs from those gas pumps and approaches another woman and demands her keys. And the woman, I kid you not, could not find her key fob. It was in the car somewhere, but she couldn't find it to give it to her.
She's like, I'm trying. I'm really trying to find it. I just can't.
I don't know where it is. She then continued to a man who was eating lunch in his truck, pointed a gun at him, demanded his keys. She fired 1 round in the air as the man got out of the truck. This would be when police apprehended her. You are the worst carjacker in the history of time.
Mm-hmm.
You're also apparently a very bad shot, thankfully. You win the crime of the least successful criminal in the history of criminal.
4 attempted carjackings in 9 minutes and got 0 cars.
0 cars. Mm-hmm. Only got 1 set of keys.
Strikes me as somebody who's played way too much Grand Theft Auto.
100%.
Thought this was going to be an easy thing. Like, all I got to do is show them the gun and they'll get out and run.
Yeah, no, they don't.
That's what they do in
Some
the video
people
game.
just go, I don't have the keys. I don't even know how I started it.
I think that would be my excuse. I seem to misplace my keys.
What's that in your pocket? Those sound like keys.
Nope.
Those are the wrong keys.
Yeah.
I am a janitor
Those
in my
are work keys.
Those are not car keys.
It's for my work vehicle. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And yes, do not do crimes. The free agency period has not opened yet, but it is.
But it has.
I mean, it's negotiating
Can
time.
Can we be done with this legal tampering nonsense? This is so stupid.
I've never called it that. I know that's the official term for it. But this is not legal tampering. This is negotiating time.
Yes.
You have 2 days to get all of your ducks in a row.
And hope nobody pulls an Anthony Barr.
Right. So when the league year opens, you can just fire those away. Done. You're all set to go. We've had a lot of signings today, some quarterbacks coming off the board. Jimmy Garoppolo is with the Las Vegas Raiders. 3 years, $67.5 million for him. Mike White, no longer a member of the New York Jets.
That's fine. At this point, I'm just resigned till we have completely screwed this up.
Stop it. So such a defeatist attitude. He goes to the Miami Dolphins.
Well, 30 years of background tells me that I'm probably in the ballpark.
Jarrett Stidham's going to the Denver Broncos. You got Case Keenum going to the Houston Texans. And Sam Darnold gets a deal, 1-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. Still have not seen a number on that contract yet.
I have not either, actually.
But I think it's for, like I said,
about $5 million.
About $5 million.
And I will make a sweeping declaration right now. Sam Darnold starts more games for the San Francisco 49ers next year than Trey Lance and Brock Purdy combined.
That sounds like a torture ticket.
In. Sam Darnold is the best of those three quarterbacks, and it's not really all that close.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trey Lance has the higher ceiling, but San Francisco just spent $84 million on a D tackle. How much leeway do you think they're going to give Trey Lance? If he comes in and looks like he did last year, how long is it going to take them to go, well, we do have this guy? Something else to think about. Why did they prioritize Sam Darnold to such an extent if he's just the emergency 3 in case somebody's not healthy?
Mm-hmm.
You did it 5 hours into free agency. That makes me feel like this might have been a bit of a priority for you. And why did Sam Darnold tap so early? So the guy started in the NFL for 5 years. And you're telling me.
Because he knew he didn't have a spot.
So you're telling me he couldn't have wound up in Houston and legitimately started instead of Case Keenum?
No, because they're going to start whatever quarterback they draft.
Yeah, Case Keenum's going to be the backup. You're telling me they didn't at least make a call. Say, hey, you got a lot of starting experience. Young guy, if the rookie we draft is not ready, you can come in and start in front of him. Would stun me if that call wasn't at least had.
And they may have. I'm sure the Carolina Panthers may have, kicked the tires on that as well. We'd love to bring you back as the bridge to C.J. Stroud, who we have to draft at number 1. But I wouldn't want it. If I'm Sam Darnold, I'm going to the place where I got the best opportunity.
I'm going to the place where the quarterback guru that can somehow turn every quarterback into a serviceable NFL quarterback, I'm going to go deal with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because over the course of my first 5 years in the league, I have dealt with Adam Gase, Matt Rule, and Ben McAdoo. And you know what? Oh, and Todd Bowles. I forgot about that one. And I'm good. I'm going to where a coach can get the most out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think he did. And I would not be shocked if they sold him on the context of if Trey Lance is not what we want him to be, we will tap out on this and sit him behind you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't. I don't see it with Sam Darnold. I've never seen it. Is he okay? Sure, but I don't think this was a move like we want him to be our starter. This was we need to have a solid backup.
And I didn't say we want him to be our starter.
I get it.
This is a safety net.
Right.
A team like San Francisco that has the level of issues they do is not going to spend what it costs to get Sam Darnold, because I promise you it's not going to be some vet minimum deal. He got some cash here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do that if there's not at least part of you going, this may not go our way. This is a win-now roster. Brock Purdy is just a little feller, and he's not all that talented in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the chance to go get Sam Darnold as our safety net.
This is why I think John Lynch is a good GM.
I do too.
He thinks from all angles, and
I do too.
And he had to have a third option. Sam Darnold was the best cheap option that was out there. I'm not going Carson Wentz. I'm not going Jacoby Brissett. I'll take my shot on Sam Darnold.
Now, one that we have not talked about as much today because I feel like it's the most obvious thing that's happened all day is Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
What is your overall take on that?
I don't care. I don't think this is going to be a good team anyway. I don't believe in your coach at all. Do I like your pieces? Yeah. I liked your pieces last year. I liked your pieces year before last. I mean, I did say they weren't a playoff team, and then they ended up making a playoffs, but still, this was a barely scrape into the playoffs team. They could be that again with Jimmy Garoppolo, or can they?
No
Look
shot.
at that AFC. There's no shot Jimmy Garoppolo and Davante Adams and a Swiss cheese defense and a Swiss cheese offensive line are going to be able to compete.
The offensive line improved over the course of the year.
Yeah.
It was better.
It was better. Still wasn't good.
I don't see a path that they're a playoff team, and that leads me to my question. Does the signing of Jimmy Garoppolo make it more or less likely that they're going to take a quarterback in the top 7? Because I've heard the narrative of, well, they paid him $67.5 million. They didn't do that for him to. I don't think it has even the slightest to do with any of that. It actually makes me think they're going to take Anthony Richardson even more than I already did.
Yeah, I don't know that it swayed me more or less. I just thought that was a given. Like, you have to draft a quarterback.
Well, you don't have to.
Well,
I mean, now the Raiders can go into this. And, I mean, just take the journey here with me. If there are as many teams as some would lead you to believe that are scared of Jalen Carter, has personality issues ever scared the Raiders off of anybody? So would it shock you if they sat at 7 and said, we have our quarterback, and they go get Jalen Carter? It's not going to surprise me in the least.
No. Take a flyer on a guy in the 2nd round, 3rd round, somewhere in there.
I'm probably not. I don't think any of the quarterbacks that you can get in day 2. I mean, you can tell me Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is 6 months or 8 months younger than Sam Darnold as a rookie. One of these has started for 5 years in the league. One of them is just getting to the league.
Right.
And had no high-level tape until he was 3 years older than everybody played against.
You look at a guy like Tanner McKee or somebody like that. Later in the draft, you can take a flyer on.
See, to me, those are
maybe
just wasted picks. Every time you do that, it's just a wasted pick. I mean, because people always go to Derek Carr. I get that, but we at least saw a future player in Derek Carr. You just couldn't figure out exactly where he fit. I always said his brother hurt him a little bit, and playing in a smaller conference hurt him a little bit. I don't see that out of Tanner McKee. I mean, and I feel like I like him more than most people do. He's Davis Mills. And is that what you're signing up for? And he's an older prospect, too.
I mean, he's not my future, but I've got Jimmy Garoppolo for the next couple of years, and maybe this team is not good and we pick high again next year.
Yeah, here's my question. How many years in a row do we have to watch teams take quarterbacks in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round before we realize, oh, yeah, stop doing that? Because it virtually never works out. Matt Corral's on line 1. Malik Willis is on line 2. Desmond Ritter's on line 3. I can keep doing this for quite some time. Kyle Trask, looking right at you as well. So I won't be shocked if they still take a quarterback. I also won't be shocked if they just completely go all in on Garoppolo makes us a playoff contender. I don't believe that.
No.
I mean, is he a better quarterback than Derek Carr?
No.
That's the part of this that makes no sense to me.
Well, they were. I don't
cheaper.
feel like they were ever getting any talent on the level of Derek Carr.
No, the thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to give them the time of day in a watch shop was always it was comical to me.
Right.
Well, because Davante Adams is there. You mean the guy that left him? Really? You don't understand how type A personalities work, do you? Because they really don't like being told that, well, the grass is greener somewhere else.
Right.
That was the only tie to the Raiders that made any sense.
And can Jimmy Garoppolo, can he have a successful season with the Las Vegas Raiders? I think the stats could look decent with Davante Adams. But,
I mean, what's successful? Is successful even what Derek Carr was? Because I'm going to say no.
No.
And so what does this really do? And for some reason, it seems like every team that is controlled by a disciple of Bill Belichick does the same thing. I watched the Lions do it with Matt Patricia. I watched the Texans do it at one point with Bill O'Brien. I've watched the Texans then do it again with Nick Caserio, and now I'm watching the Raiders do it. You are so obsessed with not being the worst team in the league that you just throw all these random Rex Burkhead, Jimmy Garoppolo. I could keep doing this, but I don't want to. Just stop hiring these guys. I feel worse about the Raiders today than I did 24 hours ago. And I even knew this was coming. And for some reason, the minute I saw the deal, everybody started talking about the value of the contract. But what's the end game? There's not a productive one here. You're not making the playoffs. You're the worst team in your division, and I'm not sure it's all that close. I mean, Denver has Russell Wilson. Yeah, and now all of a sudden they're going to be able to run because they just signed two of the best run blockers in the league.
They're going to have a running game. Sean Payton is a hell of a coach. He'll be able to fix things for them, and they're going to be better.
And you got Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I don't think the Las Vegas Raiders did anything to get better in this move.
I don't either. They got slightly cheaper.
This was barely keeping your head above water so you don't get fired. And you may not achieve that.
I was about to say, and to me, this is I feel like you have made a pseudo-win-now move because Jimmy Garoppolo sounds better than he is. I mean, yes, he got you to a Super Bowl with the best roster in the league. The Raiders don't have the best roster in the league. Matter of fact, they have the worst roster in their own division and the third worst roster in their own conference. And so you think you're going to have even a vaguely similar result. But the fan base hears Jimmy Garoppolo and goes, that guy made it to a Super Bowl. This is, I swear to you, the only thing I've been able to think about all day. This is Neil O'Donnell all over again. You take a bad roster, give me a quarterback that's been to a Super Bowl, and so you don't see any of the blemishes. If you got those black and gold glass or black and silver glasses on, you don't see any of the blemishes. So you go in thinking, we're competitive now, and then you go 5-12. And then the fan base is unruly, the ownership's unruly, and a year from now, you've got Jimmy Garoppolo who came here to be with Josh McDaniels, and Josh McDaniels is gone. Does that make sense to me?
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound stop and go between Hendersonville Road and Chimney Rock Road. 26 eastbound again slow between the US 25 connector and Ozone Drive. 26 on the westbound side stop and go between Hendersonville Road and Long Shoals Road. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road, north and southbound, near Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
Get ready to celebrate your favorite podcasts at our iHeart Podcast Awards. Tune in as the best podcasts take home awards in categories like comedy, crime, pop culture, and more. Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and Facebook page and listen on iHeartRadio tomorrow night at 9.
Considering an EV for yourself or your business? Consider the benefits of subscription. I'm Scott Painter, CEO of Autonomy, where an EV subscription is like a lease but way more flexible. It's a debt-free way to get month-to-month access to a new EV. You can even pay with your credit card. Learn more at autonomy.com.
This week at Macy's, discover great deals on spring updates for you and your home. Refresh your look with Michael Kors handbags, shoes, and more, $250 and under. Get 50 to 70% off suits, blazers, and pants for him. And shop select great value small appliances, $99.95 and under. Plus, get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today at Macy's. Details at macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
now you look like a pro.
Are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. It's ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. We are almost done with the 3 hours of the program and still no news.
What a shock. Aaron Rodgers hasn't said anything yet.
We know when the announcement's coming. We said this on Friday. The announcement is coming tomorrow on Pat McAfee's show. It's the only way this was ever going to happen.
Well, I will say McAfee was very sure to say that he doesn't do off-season things. Hey, he comes on every week of the season, but this is the tampering period. Yeah. Why do I have a funny feeling? I mean, now look, as a Jet fan, I'm sitting there going, there would be nothing jettier than Aaron Rodgers has some last-minute change of heart and he retires.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you are 100% stuck.
Yeah,
you're stuck giving $250 million guaranteed dollars to Lamar Jackson because you do not have another choice.
Agreed. And then we get to debate whether or not that was worth it or not. I think it's a done deal. As Trey Wingo has reported, it's a done deal,
and he's been right from Jump Street on this story.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same. It's the same thing. It is a done deal. It just depends on when Aaron feels like he's going to get the biggest bang for his buck in the news cycle, and he'll own it as soon as he makes the announcement, which will come at any moment. Free agency period has not opened yet, but we're getting deals signed left and right, or deals agreed to left and right, I guess we should say. What bracket are we going to do this year? That's the question on the table. We'll put it up on social media. You'll be able to vote, give your suggestions on which of the specialty brackets are we going to do this year. Some of the suggestions that we've gotten so far. Leader in the clubhouse, no doubt, pro wrestler. Greatest pro wrestler of all time. That one could be a whole lot of fun. And then there's rapper, which I cannot help with, but I'm pulling for you. All of you who've wanted to see it for 2 years, I'm pulling for you.
Well, I mean, we're going to do that one way or the other.
It'll come eventually.
It's just probably going to be a 16 rapper bracket in the summer. And I'm telling you, those first-round matchups are ugly.
The best teams of all time across all sports. Saturday morning cartoons. That's an interesting one. Of course, that's just for us, Gen Zers or Gen Xers / millennials. They didn't have Saturday morning cartoons for... Well, I don't feel like they've had them for 20 years. And then best video games. That was also mentioned. So that could be a potential. We'll have it posted up on the social medias. You can vote on that, and we will have a decision for you here in the Sportsocracy tomorrow at 3, right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Hard freeze next 3 nights in the valley with temperatures dipping down into the 20s, even colder with elevation. Our low tonight, 25 degrees. Cold front in, northwest winds are in, and it is the colder side of mid-March here with highs Tuesday and Wednesday in the 40s and 50s. Nighttime low temps down in the 20s, and the numbers well below average for this time of year. And the cold continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go. 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slows east of Hendersonville Road, continuing to east of Chimney Rock Road. In Haywood County, 40 westbound stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, moving incident-free. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road, north and southbound, near Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring heating up? Indeed's hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in one place. Sponsor a post and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates on Indeed whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
The Sportsocracy.
That's the way I feel when my team wins. And if I want to jump up and down when my team wins, and if I want to hug my players when they do good, I'm going to do it.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF.